All right, here we go. We are starting up Weekly Alaboom for Wednesday, May 13th, 2015. Looks like we had a little bit of we got not a lot of people right now, but now we got more people logging in later. But I got the ever present and loquacious Barry Reynolds. How we doing, buddy?
Okay, how you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. Anything new? What's up? How has the last 6 days been treating you?
All right, pretty good. A couple of us did that. But wait, there's more. Hangout last night. Joel and Suzanne and Chaz and Robin and Anthony. That was pretty fun, interesting.
Stunningly, I did not get an invite, of course, because nobody invites me to anything anymore.
It was, I didn't want to do too many people at once. Yeah, it was went off pretty good. I used Google Sheets for the first time publicly, and that worked out pretty well for the cards. I was surprised how well that went off.
So did you host it, or did you play, or how did it work?
I hosted it because of the cards being hidden information. So I just ran like the timer and gave everybody the cards over that Google Sheets.
Oh.
It worked out pretty good. I don't know if it'll work out with other games with more hidden information, but for that one, it did work out pretty good.
So even better, you hosted, and then you didn't bother to invite me either. So
no,
thanks a lot. I really
did not.
Appreciate that. Yeah,
no
thanks.
problem.
And Barry will be muted for the rest of this hangout. Keith, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing okay. Did you get to play in the special thing yesterday?
No. I'm just a hanger-on, so I'm not an actual media personality. So
you didn't get invited either, huh?
This is where I'm at. Yeah, but I did get my game that I ordered during our chat 2 weeks ago today. I got my Looney Quest.
Oh yeah, did you play it yet?
I took it out and played with it to check it out, and I found I'm very bad at the ones where I have to entirely circle something, but I can draw a line from point A to point B.
Yeah, that's a great game for families. So
yeah, I think it's going to be a hit.
And then the weird thing is, like we talked about before, it's like you can't get that version of it technically unless you order it from like Amazon D, or you can find somebody that's like in the UK that sells on Amazon. Because of the fact that it is that's like the European version of it, and then the same designers have a game called Doodle Quest. It's over here in the United States, and that's not that Doodle Quest is bad, but that is the superior version in my opinion. So it is what it is. So I know that Doodle Quest is like cheap. It's like $16. It's not expensive at all. So it's
this costs me 40. So.
Yeah, so I mean, that's an online price, of course. So, all right, so I see Robin just got on, but I don't want to. We have a couple of we have some people that have joined us. We have Mike and Mike from the people that we talked about the adventure case last week. We talked about that forever. They're from Dogmite Games, and hey guys, how you doing?
Good. How you doing? What's shaking, everybody?
And you're just joining us. I'll let you pimp your thing here in a little bit, but you guys have had several Kickstarters before that were successful, and now you got one out there for basically a gaming case that you get to carry around. You get to carry all your stuff with you. Is that right?
Yeah. Thanks for having us. Yeah. Good night.
And good night. So what? Hold on a second. What are you doing here? I will be in your bed. Yo, get out of here, you little ragamuffin. All right. So okay. Well, thanks, guys. And then I do see that the other people that I was waiting for to show up from BattleBard are here. Hey, guys. Can you hear me?
Yo, yeah, we can hear you just fine. What's up, Lance?
All right, cool. Hey, guys. And they're the ones that I was referring to. You guys have a Kickstarter going on right now that is for like our role-playing game soundtracks. And
yeah.
That's all. And that's like, well, just let's you guys tell me about it. Like, just give the 1 minute speech about your Kickstarter real quick here. And then I'll let the guys go.
I'm going to throw that over to Mike with 1 minute speeches because I'll blow that by an order of magnitude.
Because he'll do 10 minutes easy without even taking a breath. Sorry, Mike and Mike, but we actually get to pimp on stuff.
No,
But
I'll let Mike and Mike do theirs after yours. But I just because we gushed about theirs for like an hour last week. We were talking about how awesome they look. So we'll talk about theirs in just a second. So go ahead.
Sweet. So basically, what we are is we're a couple guys that just decided to get together to make custom audio for tabletop games. So like iMonster, God, 1 minute.
you can have more than 1 minute.
Yeah, I'm trying to condense it all in 60 seconds, and it's not happening. My brain's just like completely farting right now. Fire Elemental. We have Goblin Warrens. We have music, monsterscapes, languages, sound effects, travel sounds, voiceovers for NPCs that you may not want to voice, or your PCs are just like, please don't try and do that voice anymore. Just simply click play. And so we have our Kickstarter going. We actually are funded right now. And
by a lot, by over double what your goal. So
actually,
we got our 100th backer a little while ago, which was slick, yeah. But so hold on, Mike, if I may, to condense what Mike is saying. BattleBards is two things, guys. It is the largest premium audio collection for fantasy gaming ever made by professionals, typically professionals who voice national work. So I'm talking about people who do like Coca-Cola commercials. We have a voiceover guy who did the voice for the Skeleton King in Diablo 3. So we have actually some major pros that work on our audio stuff. Audio anywhere from music, sound effects, voiceover, soundscapes, monsterscapes, you name it, we have it. And this library will be growing month after month, and that's kind of what this Kickstarter is about. But BattleBards also is about the tools to actually implement that audio in a way that GMs can actually practically use. So if you've been a GM at all, you kind of know that it's one thing to have audio, but if you don't have a means to use it practically, it's worthless, because trying to have 4 different media players open and queue up that one piece of audio, and if it's not ready to go, the energy is going to fall off the table when you're telling your players, "Oh, hold on, guys, can you just put that battle on hold for a second? I got to find this piece again." Or what Mike likes to bring up, I'll have various like YouTube and Vimeo links up, and then all of a sudden, halfway through this great battle, it's slap into a Slim Jim, or a Geico ad comes on, and I'm like, "Oh, dude. That sucked." There goes all the setup I put into this. So with a soundboard and a mixer, GMs will have this audio closer to them than they've ever had it before, and actually make it practical to use. You're going to be able to mix your own stuff. You're going to be able to bring your own audio libraries into this. So if you've got that Conan OST for the Conan game that you guys talked about a little while ago, how cool would it be to then mix with some of the original OST stuff, some sound effects, some soundscapes, even a music track on top of that, and that's just going to blow it out of the water, and that's basically what we're doing. So I told you it was going to be more than a minute, Lance.
Yeah.
I
warned
you,
man.
And we'll come back to it, but I mean, I think the coolest thing is that, and I have a couple questions. I mean, it's like you just have your PC open, and it's just like kind of like like a soundboard. You just click on it and it just goes, and then you can combine the tracks, you can do everything. And you guys were kind enough to let to Dropbox some of the stuff, some of the audio and some of the music and everything, and it really does. I mean, I'm more of a background music guy when I play D&D, or we play Swords and Wizardry now, but same difference. And for me, it's more like like the Dwarven Temple, being able to play that in the background when they enter into the first time they enter into like a Dwarven town or something, and just being able to play that and evoke that sense of wonder and excitement when they reach that point and things like that, and I think I mean it's really well done. I mean, and you guys, of course, you went on and on. You didn't even bother saying what it was on Kickstarter. But if you're listening to this, and you want to check it out, go to BattleBards on Kickstarter. Just type that in, like one word, just how you pronounce it, and you can pull up their Kickstarter right now, and you can check that out. So.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as audio and gaming, music is the most common that GMs use. Whether it's going to be like an ambient track that's going to be playing on a loop for a battle or a scene, or simply just to score a narrative, and that's great. And we produce, I think, some of the best fantasy music ever made, and that all that talent, all that credit really goes to our talent. But
don't break your arm. Don't break your arm.
Hey, well, those pats on the back go to the talent. They're really the superstars here at BattleBards. But then there's also a whole new aspect of audio and gaming, which is the inclusion of sound effects, which could be used to accent a BBG casting a spell. There's voiceovers that can bring new life to common NPCs like weaponsmiths, armorsmiths, and there's so much more to explore on the audio side of things that we're just excited to be able to introduce this into gaming.
I think like the one of the thing that I was like looking at, I run a campaign, like Keith is involved in it. I run a campaign on like over online and stuff like that, and like I'm almost positive I'd be able to like work the audio directly into what they hear and stuff like that just by using my microphone and stuff like that, and so I definitely it's one of those things where it's like I think, you know, when you're a GM and you're standing in front of people, you're able to evoke and you can stand up and you can demonstrate and what have you, but like when you don't have that ability of being in front of somebody, like I know a lot of people that play D&D online now. I think like the ability to use any of these tracks or anything like that would really help out a lot. So I think it's awesome. Everything. I mean, it just unless. Without hearing it, which kind of stinks that we can't play it for them, right now. But I know you guys have samples, but I definitely suggest people should go there and check it out because it's pretty amazing. So
yeah, thanks. No, I really appreciate it. As a GM, the holy grail of what I want to do for my players is, when I look at these scenes from Lord of the Rings or Star Wars or just any kind of epic movie, and there's that drama, that excitement. That's what I want to bring to my players. The same level of immersion, the same depth to it. And audio, over the last 15 years that I've been using audio in gaming, has been so important to do exactly kind of what you said, Lance, is kind of to dial in your players' emotional states. To, like, if an major NPC dies or a PC dies, you want to feel that. You want your players to really kind of be agonizing over that. And being able to bring everyone's kind of emotional states there is largely done through audio, at least in the games, and through narratives and stuff like that. It plays such a role. The example that we like to talk about as far as what it's like playing a game like D&D with and without audio is there's a great YouTube video out there which goes through Star Wars: The New Hope, that ending ceremony scene, and the whole scene goes without John Williams' score. And it's such an amazing video because it falls so flat. It's just, two guys in a walking carpet going down to collect their reward, and there's like no audio. There's no music in the background. It's so weird. So that's kind of how we see gaming as well.
Yeah, one of the weird things, and I don't want to break away, but I remember a long time ago I was like living in my little piece of crap apartment, and like a buddy of mine was running a campaign, and he came over early when we were gonna get ready to play, and he said, "Do you have any like CDs, like soundtracks?" He said, "I need something kind of spooky, kind of scary. And do you have something that would be good?" And I remember we searched through my CDs back when people owned CDs, and I found the soundtrack, and Lord knows why I had this. I had the soundtrack by Ennio Morricone of the Hamlet with Mel Gibson, when Mel Gibson was in that version of Hamlet, and there was a track in there when he sees his father, the ghost, and it's like about 6.5 minutes long, but it's very eerie and very, very off-putting, strange noises and things like that. And I remember when we went into these tunnels searching for whatever it was, this magic gem that we had to find. I don't even think we fought anything the entire time we were in these tunnels. But we had, the surround sound. We had this music just on repeat in the background, just barely audio. But I mean, the entire, like you say, the entire group was just completely locked into that moment, locked into that feeling of being in these cramped tunnels, searching around and waiting for something to jump out at us and eat our souls or something. And yeah, I mean, music just, it adds so much, as far as that goes. So. But no, okay. Well, I don't want to ignore. We've been talking. I think people are probably sleeping. The other guys that are on here, so I don't want to ignore them too much. But just talk about whatever, and definitely. So if I was playing an RPG and I had this great music, I would need some sort of like carrying case to bring everything with me to my gaming session, wouldn't I? That's called a connection there.
Well, it's called a segue, Mike and Mike.
Pick up on it real quick. As a matter of fact,
So, yeah, as Keith is always likes to do, he likes pulling up things on his thing, and then I can focus on it. So there's Barry, find the Battle Bards one too, so I can show that one in the if you can, if you'd be so kind.
Battle Bards, okay.
Yeah, and then do the show screen. But anyway, that is the. Why are you scrolling down? They can't see the name of it. Keith, go to the top. Jeez, work
I'm
with
not
me
a professional. I'm a hanger-on.
I know you are. You're hanger on. So that is the adventure case, and that's the cool little like skull and squid cover to it. But yeah, look, there's a real one that Mike and Mike have. So. That's awesome. Cool. So okay, tell me about your company, guys, and like how this all got started and how you got doing what it is that you do. And then, because you've had the other ones before, you've had like the dice chest before, and like design your own deck box, and so I mean, tell me about that and kind of like where you've gone with this. Who's the woodworker out of the two of you?
That would be me.
Oh, are you both the woodworkers or what? I'm sorry.
We both do it. I've done it for probably 10 or 12 years now. And maybe to rewind a little bit before that, we kind of get into this doing a game. We did a card game. How long ago was that? Three years ago? 3 years ago. Did a card game followed by another big box game. And as an aside for the big box game, we did some wooden component add-ons. You know, we got kind of it was really just offhand. We decided we'd throw this in for like some stretch goals or something like that, Kickstarter, and people really liked them. We got a lot of good feedback on that. So that kind of led us into that marriage of gaming and woodworking. So I do it as a hobby prior to this, and was kind of like we should maybe look at this, and we looked at what was there, what was available at the time, and I think there were a lot of wooden products out there, but the Kickstarter market hadn't really gotten into the gaming product. Like there were a lot of products that were made of wood that weren't quite for gamers. They kind of fit. They you could kind of pigeonhole them in there, but
it's like they were good quality wood products that happened to be for gaming, and they didn't work at our weekly Pathfinder game, so we just started prototyping a bunch of different things, and that's really how it started.
Yeah, I think the deck boxes were our first one, followed by
probably adventure cases actually before dice chests.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we prototyped the adventure cases at Gen Con last year. So that was like a 9-month cycle, refined it with our group over the year. And then that fall we did the dice chests, which, we were pleasantly surprised at the reception to those. People were really psyched about them.
Well, geez, yeah, you went crazy on that one. So, I mean, as far as the overfunding, so.
Yeah, and sort of we tried to, take it up a notch for this next one, and sort of the adventure case is kind of our opus. It's background in creating games and creating wooden products, and now we're kind of like we feel like we're really hitting our stride with this one.
Yeah.
And the reception has been amazing so far.
So it's your opus. I mean, it's all downhill from here, or what?
Yeah, we blew our wad pretty quick.
So okay, so walk me through what is your little your gaming tray, your carrying case here? What prompted this idea, or what was the impetus of this one?
We really intended it as a GM/DM case. I play in two groups, one with Mike, one with another group of people, and the other DM that I have really likes to hide his rolls. He fakes a lot of them, but fudges a lot of them. But I think really that was kind of the impetus, to have a large enough thing to hide your rolls and to be able to store some things in between games and come back to it pretty easy. And I think that's what it was. And the lights were actually his idea, because he's got bad vision, and we just kind of worked it out in the way that we do it. Yeah. So it worked out pretty well.
A lot of it, I think, is, for us, we're fairly creative. Like Mike's an illustrator by trade, and I have a background in graphic design and sort of programming. So it's kind of this interesting marriage of utility and beauty and elegance for us. A lot of the sort of the structural decisions and things like that are informed by the design. and ultimately for us, it's kind of about elegance. So we have, identifying these problems through playing, and then, changing the design of the case to accommodate that.
And we knew we wanted it to be specifically for gamers. We wanted it to fit that need specifically, and not just be another box that you could throw stuff in. It had specific purposes. Each of the internal channels fits a deck and dice and has those specific measurements in mind. The screen was probably the thing we fought over the most and worked on the most, and we think it works really well right now.
You fought over it? What do you mean you fought over it?
Not fought over it, but just discussed it quite a bit and made a number of prototypes, tried different designs that didn't really work. It's a careful balance to have this thing sit up in the proper way, yet still function closed and fit together as the whole thing closes upon itself. So,
when you say fought over it, I had this picture of one of you holding the other one's face to a table saying, "You were gonna get in my way!"
We have a weapons wall in the wood shop just for that occasion, but we haven't used it yet. It hasn't been that bad yet.
Do you have one with the lights that I can see?
Yeah.
I saw that. I know you. Yeah. I want to see. I don't know how well it'll show up, but I mean, I wanted to see what that looked like.
Ooh. Oh wait, you gotta come up here. Let me pick this one.
Yeah, jeez, guys, come on.
Oh, it talks too. Hello. I wish I had an audio track.
That would be.
That's the mimic version, huh?
Yeah. That would be like, I remember playing old horror campaigns like GURPS Horror and like Call of Cthulhu, and you try to like have all the it being dark in the room, but having that just so like the DM could actually see, or GM or whatever, the referee could actually see what they're doing.
I was gonna say, Mike, they have one with like a dire wolf head. So if you're looking for an early birthday present for me, that's something that I would be super interested in.
Well, it's interesting.
Dark on there, and I'm thinking golden, man.
Very, very interesting that you bring that up, because isn't the painting of Ned Stark that I bought you and framed you still sitting on your floor, not even hung up? I mean, I'm just curious. I was over at your house on Tuesday, so it might have changed since then.
Well, if I get that chest, though, I bring it with me to gaming all the time, so it's just going to be used constantly. I'm telling you, see, look at that. Look at that. They're holding it up right there. Look at that, dude. That's perfect. It's amazing.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm going to have to get that for me. Thanks, Alex. That's a good find. So for your birthday, I'm going to buy me that dire head.
Well, and why are you a fan of Ned Stark? He was lawful stupid. I mean, so I mean, I'm sure you can pick a better hero.
I'm ending the call now.
Hey, Aldi joined us. Hey, buddy, how's it going?
Hey, everybody, how's it going?
If you don't know, this is Scott Alden, the Grand High Poobah of Board Game Geek. So, and he's graced us with his presence. So, you're not going to Geekway of the West, or?
No, I got BGG Con next weekend.
You got that BGG. Which one? BGG Fam. BGG Fam. That's right. I was gonna say, wait a minute. BGG Con's in November. Don't scare me. I still haven't packed my bags. So.
Yeah.
Hey, how is that going to go over BGG Fam? How many people do you have sign up for that one?
I think it's 500 last I looked. About 500.
That's not bad for first attempt, right?
First attempt, and I think we kind of failed on the marketing of it. We have things we're changing about it next year.
So just a quick question.
But yeah, 500 is totally cool for a first convention. Yeah.
And BGG Fam is going to be like, I mean, what is the response from like publishers and stuff? I mean, are they going to be there for this one too, or is it just kind of this? 10
or 12 vendors. I'm drawing a blank. Stronghold's there. Queen is there. Ad Magic is there. North Star. I think Osmati Games is there.
Cool.
This is all from memory. Yeah, it should be fun. And one of the cooler things, we've got like 15 tables set aside for the Spiel des Jahres committee. 3 of the members are coming in, and they're going to be teaching all the games that they have nominated.
Ooh, I wish I could be there so I could tell them how wrong they are.
All 9, yeah. all nine nominees will be there, and the members of the committee will be there to teach them.
Well, that's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah,
though. That's pretty awesome.
How does it get announced? The Spiel des Jahres nominees come out on Monday morning at like 4 a.m. our time.
Do you know what they are by any chance?
Nope, nothing.
Would you lie to me at this point?
I can tell you what I think they might be.
Tell us what you think they might be, because I'm curious.
I think Cacao was one of the ones that struck me as that could be a short list game. Cacao, what was another one I was thinking of? Royals, probably. I don't know if you guys played Royals. That's one of those quick, fun, good strategy, but not too hard to teach it. There was another one. Let me look at my list. I was talking about it the other day with somebody. Yeah, Royals, Cacao, maybe Perfume. I don't know. I'm just guessing. I haven't played Perfume or anything, but I know that was kind of like that's kind of one of those games that the Spiel des Jahres committee looks for. With the light theme.
I've never even heard of Perfume. What the heck is that?
It just came out in Germany. It's a Queen game. It's spelled with an A, P-A-R-F-U-M, Parfum. It's like a family style. I looked at the demo of it, and it looked and I don't know if you guys know this, but it has to be released in Germany. Yeah. The games it can't be any game released in America. It has to be released in German in the German distribution.
And they go 2 years back, right?
And it has to be of a certain size company.
You think Marco Polo will be there?
That could be. That one struck me as kind of a bit of an advanced game, so that might be Kennerspiel. Let me get my list. I think I might have run through my possibilities. Second. Cacao, Royals. There's another game. What is this? Yeah,
you are bringing this conversation to it.
I'm trying to put me on the spot. I wasn't prepared to answer.
Should I rip on Ned Stark a little bit more as well, so we can keep talking a little bit?
I'd say beating a dead horse, but
are you happy with the way the show has diverged from the books?
Don't get me going on that.
Are we going to go down that rabbit hole? I mean, then I'm going to wake up 3.5 hours from now. We're still going to be talking about it. Okay, fine. Yeah, I'll talk Game of Thrones. And I'll let somebody else talk because I don't want to talk too much. But I'll just say right now, unless you've read all the books and read the extra chapters that he's released, or you should have done all that and seen every single episode of the show, because I've done both.
You might be the only one.
I doubt I'm the only one. I'm sure there's people in this. I'm sure you haven't read the books, Aldi?
No. I'm the only books I read are programming books.
Or what?
I don't read much fiction.
Or
yeah,
what?
I don't. It's just a thing.
No, I'm sorry. What kind of books do you read? I'm sorry.
Programming. Programming and design. Like design books.
Wow, you must be really fun at parties.
I can talk about Game of Thrones. I got lots of pop culture references.
So here's my thoughts, and we could probably talk theories and whatever, and that'd be actually a pretty cool show. Actually, we could talk about that forever. But I don't care the way they're going, because of the fact that the way that Martin writes. Each one of his chapters is full of so much exposition that there's literally, and as the series of books have gone on, he's definitely turned into a Thoreauian kind of guy, where, as my father would say, why say something in 10 words when you can say it in 60? So and he's definitely gone that route, and so he's. It would be literally impossible for them to include people like Connington or Quentin Martell or even the nephew, if you will, because of the fact that in the show you have to have that you're crunched into that hour, even if you only have even if you have 13 episodes or 14 episodes a year, I think they have. So that's only 7 movies worth of space to do stuff, and you can't do that. So you end up getting rid of the Jane Poole and you don't have her taking, and you have Sansa taking that role, and instead now in the books you just have Sansa just like doing nothing. You have no idea what's going on with her in the books, but here in the show she's actually like kind of a major character, and she's still relevant, and so it's I don't mind it, and it's but you can definitely see where the only thing that bothers me is that you have to wonder when certain things happen. You start to wonder if that's going to actually happen then in the books as well, and if they're giving away things that the books are going to like eventually show. So that's the only thing.
Is he rewriting his planned future for the show?
I don't think he has, because who knows? But according to him, he sat down with the creators, when they first did the first season, and he basically scripted out exactly what was going to happen. And they are going to ultimately stay true to how the series is going to end, and all plot points, major plot points between here and there. And so if you buy into that and you believe that, then that's the case. So, whatever. And Ned Stark is still lawful stupid. So I mean, it's just like
I'll be happy.
What?
If I get one more season, I'll be happy, and then if it just ends next season,
you're gonna get at least two.
Can it end next season? Oh, 2 seasons.
I don't think it can. I mean, honestly, if he still has 2 books after 2 books after the Winds of Winter comes out, there's no way they're finishing this. It's gonna be.
There's 3 books still to go.
Yeah.
Yes, according to him.
So that could be 3 seasons.
Well, I think the show will be over before the books are out, but just my opinion. Yeah.
Believe me, I don't like shows that drag on too long. I think they screwed it up with Lost and Battlestar Galactica and all that stuff. I would rather just have like a short, a few seasons and have it just be real tight and like wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need these endless seasons of just dragging on.
So who's the person that thinks Ned Stark's so awesome that's taking offense to my Ned Stark is dead and lawful stupid?
That'd be me.
That'd be me too. I wouldn't say taking offense, but Ned Stark, man, he's the idealist. He's the romantic. It's hard not to really admire the guy. And yeah, he got his head lopped off quite early on.
What? Spoiler alert!
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, real big spoiler.
Yeah.
I will say this. I mean, it's like I remember watching that scene with my wife and knowing full well it was going to happen, and like her saying, "So what? That was like a dream, right?" I was like, "No, he's dead." It's just like,
as far as the position in Ned Stark, I really like the world that's being portrayed in Game of Thrones. It's very gritty. There's, you kind of see that even behind the truest type of person, there's still going to be politics that's involved. And I think that world really kind of needed at least some form of a true hero. Someone who would just draw the line in the sand and be like, look, no matter what, I'm going to stand up for principles. And it's very indicative of the overall story arc of the show that have him bumped off really early on, showing that really this is a world where there is no place for someone who stands by their values and kind of in a very uncompromising way. And I think that's why it's so easy to like that character, because even though, like you kind of alluded to, he's lawful stupid. He's one of the few people that was so uncompromising in what he believed in and what he stood for, and I think it's kind of really easy to fall for someone like that.
I see what you're saying, but I don't know. I think Martin just creates characters to die. I mean, he creates, and that was and that was one of those things where he created a guy that everybody would like, he would like, they would buy into, and then so he could just show how ruthless he was. That's just the way he runs. I mean, I don't know. It's really, I mean, I love his books. I mean, I everybody always complains that it's just so hard to read through them. It's like, well, yeah, the first one's a little bit of a slog, but as soon as you understand the way he writes, you really, I think he gets a little sophomoric a couple times. Like a couple times when it's just like, I mean, and I'm a grown man, and I can definitely like have no problem with reading erotica or whatever or anything like that, but it's just like when he all of a sudden decides then to just write a graphic sexual scene in his books, it just kind of takes you out of it a little bit. And I'm just like, it's like you just get the impression that all of a sudden he morphs into like a 17-year-old boy, and he's writing about something that he has some weird personal fantasy about. But I mean, it's and the constant conversations about what they eat are a little nutball. But I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to see where it ends up, and I'm excited to see all the different like theories and ideas and of things, to see if like certain things happen. I mean, one of the really cool things I was talking with one of my buddies, and then I'll open this up to the crowd here. One of a friend of mine suggested. He said, "What if Robert Baratheon was the bad guy all along, and Rhaegar's the good guy?" And so it's just like and that eventually gets revealed. It's like maybe and Robert Baratheon was a pretty horrible guy actually. I mean he wanted babies killed, and he wanted to like kill all the Targaryens and all this stuff. And why? Because maybe Lyanna Stark spurned him and was in love with another. It's one of those things where it's just like it's a good idea, and actually I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And who knows, maybe they'll go that route. And then somebody actually suggested too. I think somebody proved it wrong just because of like the people that are huge Game of Thrones files. They can like pinpoint at any given time where certain people are, and at this time they were here and they were there and that kind of thing. But they said, what if like Robert Baratheon was actually Jon Snow's father? And just like the whole thing, just like maybe because like whole brown hair and brown eyes and what have you. So I've apparently bored everybody at this point, so there you go.
I liked talking about potential ideas about that. So in the books, like the history is not revealed in flashbacks or anything. It's you're in the dark as much as the TV.
There's a single chapter in the book when Ned Stark he doesn't get stabbed. I think he breaks his ankle or breaks his leg. I think he breaks his leg, and when he's in the cell, his leg gets infected, and he has a fever. And in the first book, there's a chapter where and it's from his perspective, and he has these fevered dreams. And one of the fevered dreams is about going, and I can't remember the tower now, but he during the final battle of the war, when Robert Baratheon took the armies and met Rhaegar to basically the penultimate battle before Jaime Lannister killed the king and everything like that. Ned Stark and Howland Reed and a bunch of other guys went to this tower where Lyanna Stark was being held captive, and they went there, and there were 12 men, including Ned Stark, and they went there with 3 members, and I might be misremembering this, and I'm sure somebody will tell me I'm wrong, but there were 3 members of the King's Guard there, including Sir Arthur Dayne, who was considered to be one of if not the greatest swordsman in the world kind of thing. And they were there, and they were the only 3 people that were there to protect Lyanna, to make sure that she wasn't taken. And they killed all 3 of them, but they killed every single person that went with, except for Ned Stark and Howland Reed. And Ned Stark said that Howland Reed saved his life that day. And then he found Lyanna, and they said she was on a bed of blood. And the last words Lyanna said was, told Ned to promise me, Ned, promise me. And he said, I promise you. And you have no idea what happened there, no idea. It's never revealed. And the big giant theory is that Lyanna Stark gave birth to Jon Snow that day. And then, so the big theory is that he was a Targaryen baby, he's Rhaegar Targaryen's son. And because of the fact that Robert Baratheon was trying to kill all the Targaryens, he made he made Ned Stark promise that he wouldn't. He would say that it was his child, so nobody thought that the baby was a Targaryen, and so Robert Baratheon wouldn't try to kill him. And so that's the big theory. And,
so in order for them to do that on the show, they would have to get everybody back who they've killed off.
Well, not necessarily. They need to have Howland Reed show up. Because Howland Reed is the only person left alive that knows exactly what happened at that tower on that day.
You don't do just on a show. You don't have just someone speak a theory and say that's the way it is.
No, there would
actually show it, right?
You'd have to have him show up and redo it. Obviously, and some dream sequence ever. Now the theory I like. True. The theory that I like and the one that I enjoy is that now they've introduced the character in the show, and the High Sparrow. They've introduced the High Sparrow, but in the books they kind of give a little bit more background as to who the High Sparrow is, just where he's shown up and what have you. And there is a very, very good theory, and that's believed by many, that the High Sparrow is actually Howland Reed in disguise. And he has come back to take out the Lannisters because they killed his best friend, who is Ned Stark. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
As a GM, we're told to listen to our players and take their ideas and run with them. Do you think Martin's doing this with all these conspiracy theories, basically?
Nope.
No.
He is. The way he wants. That's it. I don't think he takes anybody's consideration into anything. It's his story. It's his baby. He might throw in a little fanfare here and there, but I don't think he's gonna acquiesce to what people really want or these theories that are being thrown out there. He might do it just to spite the theories being out there too. You know, who knows?
He has said that he said in one interview I read that he said there was a blog, and he wouldn't say which one it was, but they asked him, do you read people's blogs and read people's things, and he said yeah, and he said, and there's one out there that actually has it all right. He said it was amazing. Somebody sent me, one of my editors sent me the link, and I read what this person had posted, and he said 99% of what this person's theories were exactly how the book is going to end up.
Well, I wonder if he might even also do what some other GMs do, where a player will come out and say, "Oh, I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to do this, and this is going to connect to that character, and this is a secret conspiracy for that the GM never dreamed up," and go, "Yeah, that's exactly what it is," and they, or just not say that's what it is and run that anyways and go, "Boy, you got it right on. Good job for that." And it's just let the players do it for them. Who knows?
Who knows? I mean, you'll never know, right? I mean, it's just. Regardless, it's pretty impressive that we kind of live in a that a book series like this has kind of taken off the way it has, and that we live. And it's kind of like when people say it's awesome that if you're a big comic book guy or girl, it's great that you live in the last 6, 7, 8 years or whatever, because of all these great comic book movies that have come out. We've seen these people that we've read in comics all those years, and they actually show up. It's kind of neat that here we have a series like this that they're actually making it and doing a really good job with it too. So yeah, I don't know. It's good stuff. It's
as a fantasy nerd. What Lord of the Rings has done, what Game of Thrones has done, is helped to bring at least what's a lot of passion for gamers like me, at the Orange County Gaming Group as well. Now where, if we're caught in a conversation about some fantasy-related thing or medieval, type of story type thing, now the jocks out there or anybody else out there would be like, oh yeah, I kind of get what you're talking about. That's kind of like Game of Thrones, or that's kind of like Lord of the Rings, because it's kind of been propelled into the mainstream media, and that's kind of helped to bring out this hobby and this passion, these kind of worlds out into the limelight. So that's why I'm grateful for that type of stuff out there now.
Yeah, being a D&D, I mean, I've had more than a few people that I mentioned that I play Dungeons and Dragons like every other weekend. They're like, oh, they'll say, is that like Game of Thrones and stuff? Well, if you have the right person who runs it, it kind of is. You can make it like that, and it's just it is neat that it is in that world. I mean, it's come a long way since I was 8 years old, and my older brother showed me and bought me the first basic D&D red box, box of rules, and I played that to tatters. So it's do you think? And I wasn't there, and maybe I'm insane, but didn't somebody say that somebody was going to try to possibly do Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time?
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
I think there was.
I know. I for some reason I thought I heard that. I have no idea. I mean, I'm sure if only I had some sort of access to some sort of information superhighway where I could look something up. But I could have sworn I read that and I heard about that. But
did that series ever get finished?
It did.
Yeah.
Wrapped up? But he died, right?
His son finished it, didn't he?
His son finished it.
Yeah. Ow!
Yeah. Careful. No, Yeah, I mean, I remember I read like the first 4 or 5 books of that one, and then I was just like, oh, geez, I just can't get through this. Just like it just spiraled out. But I've heard that it actually like, the next person, like the next one right, actually did like was very concise and like actually had an editor and things like that. So, what have you.
Do you think that happens a lot with series like that? Like, one of my favorite books was The Gunslinger, the Dark Tower series.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And then the end of that it was a little off, the last book. But do you think that happens a lot in them longer series?
Well, I'll field it. I was let somebody else talk, but I think what happens with a lot of those things is it's just like any like Scott mentioned a little earlier about like Lost and things like that. It's like it's one thing to have a great beginning to and it's another thing to like have like that nice meaty middle, but not many people know how to give you to finish it off. Give you that perfect dessert at the end, and I think it's tough. It's a skill. I mean, you can. I'm trying to think of like books that like ended well. Like the last
Dragonlance. Look at the Dragonlance stuff.
Well, Dragonlance, but they never really ended. I mean, it was like, the Chronicles. Yeah, they definitely ended well. But then all of a sudden, they did like the War of the Twins, the Test of the Twins, the Time of the Twins, and that just was just all over the place. And then at the very end, when they finally wrote that last book where basically the giant chaos monster or whatever was going to destroy the world, it was just kind of like, okay, this is dumb. It's just
yeah. Summer was kind of like, okay, I think this is where I'm going to stop reading the series when they started basically making dragons all powerful and magic was gone and blah blah blah. I got out of that because it was just like you're kind of nerfing fantasy at that point to basically just be sword and shield, lance, and that's it, basically. But yeah, I don't know. I think they did a very good job with Chronicles, a very good job with the Twin series, and even into like the Lost Chronicles. They did very well. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's just maybe I'm just talking out of my butt here, but I really liked how they ended those, how they filled in those gaps between autumn and winter and summer, or not summer, brain fart again, spring. So I don't know. I love that series so much. It's ridiculous. It's actually what got me into playing tabletop games.
Well, that's cool. But the weird thing about it is that I went back and I went back to read Dragonlance, and I picked up like the very first book, and man, is that simplistic writing. It's just like, one of the coolest geek out moments I ever had in my life was like running into Tracy Hickman and being able to talk to him.
Oh
I was at Gen Con, and then a friend of a friend basically said, "Hey, you know who this is?" And I was like, "I have no idea who this is." And this is Tracy Hickman. And I was like, "Holy cow!" And then I got to gush for 15 minutes and tell him how awesome, growing up reading his books was. But I
did the same thing at Gen Con, so don't feel bad.
Yeah. but if you go back and you read like the first Dragonlance novel, it is very much written for like a 13 to 15-year-old audience. It's not. It's not that it's bad. I just remember at the time. I remember reading it and I was just like, yeah, this is amazing. It was like it was D&D come to life in a book for me. So I was pretty excited.
I didn't read until college, and then I got the annotated Chronicles and Legends.
Yeah,
that's a great way to read those books. To be honest.
Yes, it is.
If you've never read the books, get the annotated and read them because it's fantastic.
And if you have read the books, get the annotated versions and read it. They did the Chronicles and they did the Twins series.
The Legends, yeah.
Yeah, Legends, and they put their notes on the side there, and man, the amount of information that you get just from the notes. It really is pretty well. I really like it, and I think I have both of them. One of them I think is out here, but yeah, really well done. And I think there is a place for this simplistic writing because it is a fantasy novel, and I think it's supposed to kind of give you a smidge, and then like you let your imagination fill in the blanks. I don't really like the being force-fed Wheel of Time version. I know exactly what the pine needles look like on this tree now. Okay, so we're 460 words in. I know this tree. Can we just move on to what they're doing? You know, it's just like some of these writers go, I think, a little too far into descriptive detail. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I kind of like leaving things to my mind's eye. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's just there. It's a weird world where like you'll get into like it seems like fantasy novels are very they're either easy to get into, you know, I mean, because like, or they're just dense, and I think it just speaks to certain people. I mean, it's weird that like ever since now that Game of Thrones is very popular, and then people have shown that the process of it works really well. I think it's interesting that like now it seems like every other book that I see that's like a brand new book from a brand new author is like, oh look, every chapter has a person's name above it, you know, and it's like, oh, it's like different point of view chapters, and that's cool that they're being written that way. But I mean, it kind of goes in cycles, and it's tough. I mean, it's the weirdest thing is being able to find like something new to read. I mean, I've tried to read like something by George R. R. Martin that isn't Game of Thrones, and I just don't like it. It's just, you know, for whatever reason, it just, you know, I mean, he's got like short stories, and like I think he's even got some like science fiction out there, and it just doesn't, you know, turn my crank or anything. So, but whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like, have you read the Dresden Files? Those books?
I've read one, and I was just kind of like, well, that was interesting, but then I was done. You know.
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I watched the TV show, and I think there's only one season of it, and I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. And then I learned, well, actually that's a novel series, and I'm like, oh, well, I'll pick up the novel series. And a lot of the times is I'll buy the book, but then I have a Audible account, an Audible.com account where I get, you know, tokens or whatever. I get books on tape, and so I'll end up watching a show, reading a book, and having a book through Audible. So I'm like going through all these like novels and stuff. So it's just weird how if you don't have the time, or if you just can't get into something, having it audio, an audio version of it, like listening to The Wheel of Time versus reading it, it's a very different thing. Even though they're reading it verbatim, it's a little easier to digest some of those novels.
Gotcha.
It's forever, but
all right, okay. I'm not. I apologize. We can come back to that, but I want to talk to Mike and Mike from Dogmite before they wander off on me, because I actually had several questions that I wanted to ask about the adventure cases. So, and somebody's got a woodworking class in the morning, like teaching one, or are you taking woodworking class?
No, we're just woodworking.
Oh, I thought you had like. Hold on, it said I have an early day in the wood shop and have to call it a night.
Yes.
Okay, sorry. I thought he had like a woodworking class. Something like I was like, I hope you're teaching it and not like. You know.
Yeah.
What are you building? What are you? What are you building in the morning that you have to do making the wood shop?
We're making a lumber run, actually.
A lumber run. Do you go chop down the trees yourself? And
We have done that in the past. Tomorrow we're going to the mill.
Wait, time out. Okay, you can't just say we have chopped down trees in the past. Explain to me what exactly you like. Do you live near a woods or something, or did you break into like? Go ahead.
In Michigan, and was it last year? We pulled out about somewhere between 80 and 100 trees, and those are actually. Some of these boxes are the trees that came off the property.
Yep.
So like when you own like a plot of land that has trees growing on it, and you wouldn't just chop some down?
Yeah.
Yep. They were standing dead ash, most of them.
I'm sorry, what was that? Was that ash?
Yes, ash.
Okay.
The plaid. We're nature's lumberjacks. We're both wearing plaid tonight.
I was just gonna say, did you do that on purpose for the?
That's all we own. It's all we own.
Well, that's pretty badass though. Oh, I gotta go. Oh, I gotta build another 17 cases. I better go chop down some trees.
Yeah.
That's hardcore. So, do you have a big giant like double-bitted axe, or do you like use a chainsaw or something?
Depends on how we feel that morning.
Right. Couple donuts, we go with the app.
They captured a bunch of live beavers and they force feed them bakery.
That would be awesome. All right, so you go. So you must just have like a kind of a specialty, wood mill or something that you can go and purchase your
Right. The exotic premiums, obviously, the like African padoke and stuff we don't grow in the backyard here. So.
But that would be awesome. Like if you did grow in the backyard, you could order it, and then in 26 years you'll have you'll have an amazing case. All right, so you both make them, right? Is that my understanding? Okay. Barry, did you have a question? You actually wanted to speak up?
Yeah, actually I did. I'm sure you guys got jigs and all for making these boxes.
Oh,
but,
wait,
how long does it
time out, Barry. Barry, this is your 10.
Okay.
The Barry 10 starts now. Everybody be quiet and let Barry do his 10 minutes. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, like I said, I'm sure you guys got jigs for the boxes and all that, but how long does it take on average to make one of these?
What's a jig? No, I'm just
Wow. We've been using super glue and balsa wood.
Yeah, that's tough to say. I mean, these days we do we do bulk runs all the time because we deal with a pretty high volume.
All right.
Tough to get down to the nitty gritty of that.
I don't know. It's really hard to say. We can do 50 dice chests in a week when we're rocking.
And we've got another full-time guy. We've got other part-time guys that come in and out when we need them. So if we're doing like a lot of high volume, we bring there's probably 5 guys out there.
Depends more on how many beers we drink, I think.
What do you drink? I gotta ask. What do you drink?
Founders. IPAs.
Oh,
Yes,
get
guys.
it. Oh, there you go.
There's something else you can drink.
Yeah, no, you're okay. Well, that's awesome. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, keep talking.
Our production changes. It just depends on what we're making and what we're feeling at the time, really.
Yeah, we ramped up there last year after the successful Kickstarter. We doubled the size of the shop, so we've got 1,200 square feet of lumberjack paradise out there right now. And we've bought a lot of new gear. Obviously we're doing the sculpts and stuff, so we run a full gamut sort of shop where we can cut them down, bring them in, finish them, turn them into something awesome, and ship them out. So it's fun. It's really cool. We love it, and it's a dream to have people that really love our stuff. And part of the Kickstarter process that I like the best is getting the feedback.
We were talking 9 months ago about possibly having a machine where I could draw the designs, he would sculpt them electronically, and we could put them on the top of our cases. And because of the dice chest success we had, we were able to get a CNC machine, put that in place, and really see it happen. And now probably over 50% of our Kickstarter backers right now are going for the wood sculpts, which is really nice to see. That our thoughts, what we really foresaw in the product is, seeing backing in a business.
And that manifestation of sort of creation and making things with your hands. It's very satisfying, to put the finishing touches on on this thing that somebody wants and make it exactly how they want it and ship it to them, and then have them come back after they get it and go, wow, that's really awesome. It's very gratifying work. We really enjoy it.
And it's fun to cut down trees. Dead trees.
Well, I'm gonna ask you guys: is abyssal cherry a thing?
Yes, it is a thing. I made it up, but yes, it is a thing. A lot of the trees we took down were dead cherry, and it's just kind of bland in its natural state with a double coating of varnish. It's kind of bland, and one of our biggest sellers has been anything dark. The ebony stains on the ash, the wenge wood. So we went through a bunch of experimentation and came up with a really nice 4-step process that comes up with what we want. So
it looks super slick, man. I love that abyssal cherry. Looks awesome.
the painter, this guy's mixing his own stains now. He was like, we buy the stains. He's like, it's pedestrian. So now he's like mixing his own stains, and he's got like this special corner where we've got like a fume hood and
couple explosions, just nothing major.
Nice.
That's slick, now. Love it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So your products look great. I can testify that they're well made.
Barry's 10.
Hey, it's past 10. I know it's past
No,
10.
No, I actually have a question. So, I mean, how sturdy are these things? I mean, it's like, I mean, obviously, you're not going to say, oh, they suck, they'll break, like 3 seconds after you have them.
We have an idea for our next one. We have some dice towers that are 3/4-inch wood, and we're going to take other dice towers that we've seen on the market and smash them with our dice tower. And other things. Vases, glasses.
If I were to throw a dice case at my DM, will he feel it?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
those suckers are like 5 pounds, 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm right here.
It's 3/8-inch lumber, so see it.
Not like a lot of our competitors who use much thinner.
So, I mean, you guys have normal jobs, or is this your thing now? This is what you do?
It's becoming our thing.
Yeah.
We went through the gamut like we talked about earlier with the board games and that, and we were both doing other things, and this sort of, the last project really took off, and we're devoting a lot of our time to it, almost all of our time
Almost
at this
full
point.
time.
And with the way the Kickstarter's going now, hopefully that'll be full time very shortly.
Yep.
And you guys apparently have known each other all your lives, it sounds like, from the way that you guys talk.
No, a couple of years, probably 5 years.
5 or 6 years.
5, 6 years.
Yeah, John's a nice guy.
Well, I
I've got a
mean,
question.
go ahead.
You guys have
I'll
done
allow it.
you guys have done dice towers and dice trays and these GM boxes, but what's next?
That we can't tell you.
Yeah, that's.
It's really awesome.
We have
That's
a
all
couple
can tell you.
ideas.
In the fall, we're gonna launch something probably fall or early winter. That's gonna be killer.
Yeah.
Killer. It's gamer coffins.
Yeah.
That would be. That's awesome.
I want to pose for the shots.
Well, no, that's pretty cool. And so, like, obviously, like, if somebody's interested in like your previous items too, I mean, they can still, they can go to your website and they can get grab a hold of the earlier, like, your dice towers you've been showing off and what have you.
Heck yeah, everything's available on the site at dogbite.com. If you're a Kickstarter backer, you're going to get 20% off the entire site. So if you go on Kickstarter and back for $1, you can get a little coupon code that'll give you 20% off the store.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
So even one whole $1. So what you're saying is, like, if I went and you back and you get a case, then you'll get that coupon as well, and then you can go and buy one of your cool dice towers or one of your cool
We're
other
making it the
items.
hard way. We're making it the hard way, $1 at a time.
All right. Well, yeah. Are you guys gonna be at Gen Con this year?
Yes.
You have an Origins?
Yep.
Do you have a?
Dragon Con, we got on the wait list for Dragon Con, but
That stinks. Do you have a booth, or is it just you're just gonna be hanging out and throwing cases to people, or what?
nope, booth.
Mostly hitting people with cases.
Did you have a booth at Gen Con last year?
We did.
How did I not see that?
Way in the back. I think
Wait.
in one of the men's rooms we were, I think, last year.
That was right next to our booth.
Oh,
We were right
nice.
by the men's room.
It was busy. There was a lot of foot traffic.
Yeah.
Did you say you have a booth at Origins as well this year?
Yes, yeah.
I will see you there.
Sounds
Right.
good.
Mm-hmm.
We welcome an adventure case.
Oh, well, cool, man. Hey, you didn't answer me in the chat, but like, shoot me an email or something so I can try to get a hold of you later, and maybe we can figure out something. I can help out your campaign, get you some more money possibly. So, yeah, I mean, not that you really need my help, as I see you have made $53,000 on these things. That's awesome, guys. So, As they say, good for you and good for you. So, but yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time to be on tonight and show it off. And even though Rihanna didn't show up, thank her because I didn't even know this thing existed, and then she pointed this out, and I was like, oh my gosh, these things are amazing. So, you sure you can't give us a hint as what's coming out? What's your new big idea is?
It's going to be like some really awesome sculpted thing, but that just blow your mind. Like something that's never been seen or done before. That it's going to be huge.
Yep.
That's all you get.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. All right. Well, yeah, I know you said you got an early day, so I mean, I won't keep you. So I mean, you're welcome to hang out as long as you guys want and BS about whatever. But as I said, thanks a lot for joining us tonight.
Yeah,
Thanks so much.
We really appreciate it. Good to be on the show, guys.
Yeah, you take care. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, I ordered some of their I ordered like a dozen of their boxes on the last one, and I gave them as gifts and stuff. But they're really nice.
Yeah, they're
Very cool.
Beat somebody to death with mine.
Mine must have got lost in the mail that you sent me.
So for Alex's birthday,
I got one for you now. I got a couple spares, which I think I own her. Actually.
Yeah, the deck boxes are cool too.
Yeah, I've got my business
Deck
card.
boxes too.
Yeah,
Yeah, these are little.
their
little deck of cards.
first woodworking project was deck boxes. They've got card stands that honestly are the best looking card stands I've seen.
And you can customize, like, I'm doing their sales pitch, but you can customize anything on it. Like, this is like a leather strap one, but you can do like metal studs and all kinds of different doodads on it.
That's cool.
Very cool.
So
Well,
Scott,
I mean, go ahead, buddy.
Scott, I have to ask because I see in your background the
Yes.
Dark Souls 2 Knight back there, and I'm just wondering, have you gone through that?
I beat it.
Because this guy needs a little help.
I beat Dark Souls 2. I'm very proud of that. It's the first Dark
Okay,
Souls game I've beaten.
After the Dragon Airy, I've talked to the Ancient Dragon or whatever. I've gone and I've done the giant memories.
Oh, jeez.
Now
If only there was
we're-
like
This isn't the Sierra Online
GameFAQs.com or
group.
something. I didn't realize this was Nintendo Power. We were going-
Oh, hey! Here, I'll take you down memory lane real quick. There you go.
Are you stuck? Dial 1-900-478-6249.
I would just like to say GameFAQs.com, but anyway. So go ahead. This is interesting.
I'm trying to remember. It's been over a year since I beat it, so I don't remember all the details.
Oh, look at Big Tough Guy. Over a year. I can't believe you're stuck
I
on
don't
such
remember.
a stupid thing.
I would have to look it up. I did buy that strategy guide, but I think
Why would you buy a strategy guide?
the game is ridiculously hard.
Because he wants to have it on his
Just
lap
let it-
instead of running back and forth.
Yeah, plus you can just
But
have it
all
sitting there in front of you.
But that's what the tablet is for. I mean, you can just have your like GameFAQs.com up or
Sometimes
any
the
of the
book's
other.
easier.
Yeah.
Some
Well, the book
sometimes
has
people are
nice
not-
maps and
Well,
stuff.
admittedly, I don't own a website that, according to this website right now, is worth $6.2 million. So I probably can't afford. I can't afford the luxury that is a.
GameFAQs.com. The strategy guides, like we're talking like $20. It's like not.
I know. I guess I can't afford those luxuries. They're just or I don't know. I try to beat the game on my own, but there's that.
Yeah, nobody's seen
I
the
just remember I
strategy
did
guides for
a
free.
lot of farming to level up
Oh yeah, you have to.
and just trying to find like the best equipment. Like that was the trick.
I don't like playing video games where I have to farm to do stuff. If I want to do that, I'll go back and play. I'll play
A Grickler.
Yeah. If I'm gonna play a video game with farming, I'm going to have my soul sucked out of me by World of Warcraft again, like it was in my early 30s. So but I just it's like that's why I eventually I stopped playing Destiny because I was just like
Yeah. I had
Oh.
the
This
same
one is not so bad though. I mean, it's not like a Diablo or a Destiny at all. It wasn't designed that way. So I mean, I also had a lot of help. I used I don't know the name, the the things that summon other people to your world.
The soapstone.
Yeah, and then I would get help. I mean, beating bosses is way easier with 2 people than just by myself. Like, I would just try it a few times on my own, and then I would start
Summoning
people in.
getting help in.
Yeah.
It's just I've
And
been
a lot of times I would actually put my sign down to help other people.
Yeah.
Like some of the easier bosses, I would just sit out in front and wait for people to summon me. And
That's
the kind of guy he is.
That's the best way to farm.
It's
is
fun,
to
too.
someone else. It's just super easy.
Yeah, that game is super satisfying. I've not beaten a Souls game before, so that was the first one I've beaten.
I beat the first one, the Dark Souls, on my PS3. I've been so frustrated with the game my entire life. It became I'm going to beat you because
especially when you've got like 100,000 souls and you die and you're like, okay, well I wanted to go to bed, but now I have to go back and get them, and then you die on the way, and then you're just like, okay, well that's like where I want to throw the controller at the screen for sure.
Yep. I bought Alex, actually. I bought him for one of his birthdays. I'm all, Dark Souls, you need to play this game because it's like playing your game, but you actually get loot in Dark Souls. So it's a little easier than your game.
Here we go.
Ow, cat. Anyway, ow. Stop attacking me.
So I've got a question for the panel.
Hold on. Have you guys played Bloodborne? I've heard that's like it's not a exact like sequel, but it's like in the same spirit as Dark Souls.
That's a PS4 game, right? Or is it only on PS4?
I think it's on.
PS4. It's PS4 exclusive, and it's
good. I have a PS4.
But it was awesome. It's a much faster paced Dark Souls. If that gives you any kind of idea of what to expect.
Okay, Robin, live from Estonia. What's your question?
Right. So on our podcast, we do a thing called play, own, or burn at the end of it, where you get an option, 3 options, and you have to choose whether you would play it one more time or use it one more time. If you own it, which means you can use it whenever or whatever you want, and burn it, which means you can never do it again. So my question for the panel, going down the line, is play, own, or burn video games, role-playing games, board games. Which would you categorize and
I just
how?
hate you so much right now for that question.
I know.
So I have to play it and then like own it and then play when I want to and
play it one more time.
Yeah.
So play it is one more time only. Own it is you can do it whenever you like, and burn it is never ever ever again.
Oh jeez. Well, play it or own it is RPGs, just because the RPGs are. I mean, it's unlimited, and it's what I've been playing since I was like 7 or 8 years old, and so I mean it'll always trump board games. And then it's just like it's not a fair question. I mean, this is like saying do you
That's the point.
do you eat the bucket of snot or do you drink the pail of poo? I mean, it's just like it's not a question. I mean, it's just and then but then to burn it, I guess I'd probably burn video games just because it just even though I love them, I don't play them as much. And then I guess the other one, whatever, play it one more time. Okay, I'll willingly play every board game in the world one more time, and then I'll be done with them. So there you go. There's my answer for you, Robin.
Okay, Scott.
I would keep board games, I'd play video games, and I'd burn the RPGs.
You suck!
You're about to get muted.
Hey, Dan. If you don't have a RPG group, you can't play them, right? So I don't have a good group.
Michael.
That is true. The group does make RPGing so much more fun. Tabletop's so much more fun.
So what would you go for, Michael?
So they're asking you, Mike, what's your order?
He's trying to avoid it, Robin. Can't you see that?
I try to slowly avoid that, but fail. So that was a nat 1 in real life, everybody. I'm gonna have to keep tabletop. It's just so near and dear to my heart. As you can see, as my shirt. So, God, man.
It doesn't actually happen, just so you know.
Can you smell the wood burning? Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have to say one more time with video games, and then I'll burn. I'll have to burn board games.
Okay.
Even though I hate to do
Burn the
that.
board games.
Keith?
I'm going to keep my board games. One more time, I'm going to play MAME 32 with all the ROMs because that'll take me till I'm dead.
Nice.
And I'll play the RPGs, I guess, because I could simulate it with board games a little bit.
If I ever, just not to interrupt your story, but if I ever have like money that I don't have anything else to do with, I will have somebody professionally make me one of those super awesome MAME stand-up consoles that basically like has literally every single old
Console.
video game. Yeah, old video game. You know, like that I used to ride my bike to the Pirates Den at the local mall, which was our arcade, and take my like $4 to the quarters and blow it all and play arcade games, you know, for 2 hours. I mean, whenever, if at some point, you know, I got a few $1,000s that my wife wouldn't murder me for spending on something so superfluous, I would get one of those MAME machines just so you could sit there and play that anytime I want. Oh, okay. I guess I'll play Heavy Barrel for a while.
Once, and that's a few $1,000, right?
What?
You just got to skip Gen Con once. That's a few $1,000, right?
Yeah, but then I wouldn't get to see you.
I've got the giant two-station joystick for it. I just don't have the cabinet.
I mean, those MAME machines though now. I mean, it's just like I was looking at it, and it's just like, yeah, it's intense the amount that you can have on there. So.
Do they do like a CRT as well, like a real video CRT?
Oh yeah. Well, actually, now what they do is they just put a flat screen TV in there.
Oh, so they use like an LCD panel.
Yeah, and then I've seen it actually, and I'm totally burying Robin's question. I apologize for that, man, but we'll get back to it. I got invited like to Gen Con like 2 or 3 years ago. Like I was hanging out with a couple friends, and they said, "Oh, I'm going over to this guy's. He rents this penthouse at Gen Con," and I was like, "Oh, okay, you know, and we're just gonna go up there and hang out for a little bit and maybe play a game or two." And I was like, "Yeah, that's cool." And I go up there, and I ended up only spending about 10-15 minutes there. But whoever was renting the penthouse had some money, and he had a pinball machine that in his room that wasn't. It was just a giant flat panel TV, like 2 of them, and like he said there's some guy that professionally makes these, and basically it had like all the old school pinball machines, but as both a top TV and a bottom TV. And it actually had rumbling and stuff like that, and then you basically picked what old school pinball machine, and then it had buttons on the side and everything like normal, and but it was all digital. I mean, there wasn't an actual real ball in there, so you were just playing it, and like it was very, you know, obviously it was very nicely done and very realistic, and like you actually when you played it, when you like clicked the bumpers, it actually made the little thump. You know, so you felt it in your hands, and it was pretty intense. It was pretty awesome. And I was just like, "What did this run you?" And he's like, "Oh, you know, it was like $9,000 or something." I was like, "Oh, geez." but yeah, I saw that, and so once again, another thing. If there's any wealthy philanthropists that listen to this and decide they want to, gift something to me, that's another one of my someday type things. The Addams Family first pinball game was an amazing pinball game. I wish I owned that. That'd be awesome.
I agree. We had that in the office.
That's such a good game, man. It's like, you know, the Mamushka, you know, and just like every time you hit the buttons, you get like 250,000 points. Something. I used to play that. There was a mini mart next to the Domino's Pizza I used to work at, and we'd get done, and I'd go there and I'd blow like $8 on playing pinball games in there after I get done working my like close shift. So, memories.
When I used to have a day job, they had that same pinball machine at a Round Table Pizza I used to have lunch at. It's amazing.
Oh, that Adam Sandler game was just, and remember, like the thing would capture your pinball and pick it up and just
or whatever.
yeah, it was so good. It was just, and there was the 2 ramps up on top, and so once again, any wealthy philanthropists that have nothing better to do with their money, just contact me after the show, and then there you go.
Talking of wealthy philanthropists, Dan.
Yes, the question that started this conversation.
You know, I do this without, you know, it sounds pretty quick, but it's just because I've been thinking while Lance has been talking. You know, I love RPGs, but I probably would have to burn them because I want to at least play video games one more time before I'm stuck with board games for the rest of my life. I say stuck, but I think I would have to have some of that one-on-one contact, you know, the FaceTime contact with people for board games for the rest of my life. So Lance, sorry, our RPG game would have to be burned.
That's okay. Your dwarf is dying next time anyway, so. Ricano is like constantly talking about how he wants to kill other members of the party to me.
Oh,
so
man.
why is he touching? And like I couldn't believe he was like telling Marty he was gonna, like, you know, he told your in character brother, he's like, I pull out my sword and pointed at Marty. And it's just like, oh my gosh, just what's going on? You know, it's just
hey, we can use this fantastic music as timers to make us make a decision.
There you go. do you have a soundtrack for inter-party combat there guys in BattleBards?
That's coming soon. That's actually
with how many times we've had players arrest each other, kill each other, turn each other in. Yeah, that's coming.
As soon as you say that music, what pops into my head is the classic Star Trek, the Kirk Spock fight music from.
Actually, yeah, I was thinking either that or something like Yakety Sax.
No, that's our theme song. That's totally different.
Well, like I remember when I was shooting emails back and forth with your guys' business partner who wasn't able to join us. I remember, like, because growing up, there were like 3 things that we listened to for soundtracks when we played. The Conan the Barbarian soundtrack was like a staple. Everybody listened to that.
Had to have it.
And Glenn Danzig's Black Aria, which is because it's just that was his like little like all instrumental like deep sinister music. And then for whatever reason, we also had the soundtrack from Akira. As well.
That was another good one. I'll throw you a 4th one, though. Did you ever get the soundtrack for Excalibur?
Oh, yeah, that too. Actually, that goes without saying. I apologize.
We used Vangelis Greatest Hits.
Hey, rest in peace, King Arthur, man. He passed away like a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
The actor, what was his name? Nigel... I can't think of his name right now. But passed away.
Bummer. I did not know that.
Yeah, you know, like the kind of like pretty much the first King Arthur any of us knew. Yeah, he like emphysema or something. Like too young. But yeah.
As far as old OSTs, I don't know if anybody else. I used to use a lot of Last of the Mohicans, Braveheart. Made it into my rotation a lot of times. And then as far as like audio that was a little bit more specifically created for gaming, a ton of Nox Arcana and Midnight Syndicate. I don't know if you guys know of those. Some amazing campaign setting music as well.
Nice. I remember. I was just thinking about the movie Excalibur. How cool was that moment at the end when Lancelot comes out with the giant beard, and it just comes out and just starts bashing people with that giant morning star he's got in his hand, and it just shows up out of nowhere.
The movie is so epic. So epic.
It is. It is just plus. It's not every day that you see some dude getting down and dirty, wearing full plate.
Full armor.
So
Yeah.
And it's just like
that's
so
the thing.
clunky.
Yeah,
they're so clunky, and I'll attest to this because Yeah, I wore for our Kickstarter video. I wore Roman armor, the shoulder pieces and the chest pieces, and it's super heavy. So those guys, when they're doing those fights, and you see them fall, and it's like that's the end of that guy because he's on the ground, and you're done. You hit the ground and you're over. But their clunky movements, it's because that armor is so frickin' heavy, and just moving in it's an exercise. Just
like Lance said,
the fight is hardened.
It's tough. I mean, and that's what the movie did so well, right, Mike? It's, in that movie, you see this guy bashing a guy on his back with the sword over and over again, and the armor just keeps deflecting it. And nowadays, in almost every movie that has out there that someone's playing plate mail armor, it's really made out of paper mache because every dagger, every sword, every crossbow bolt, everything goes right through it and pierces it. And that's the one thing that I love about Excalibur. Someone wearing full plate, you're bashing this guy repeatedly until maybe your sword shatters or whatever it takes to break that guy's bones underneath. But I thought Excalibur actually does credit to armor in an amazing way.
Well, that's one of the big things. Like if you actually read about medieval history, swords, the point was actually a point. But the actual sword was actually really dull. You didn't have a sharp sword. It was made to be a big, heavy thing that you could apply a lot of the impact to a point of pressure. And the whole thing is that you were trying to stun or you were trying to break a bone,
Yep.
and just from the concussive force of the attack. And then once you got somebody on the ground, then you could get their helmet off, or you could work the point underneath into a joint, and you could stab them and let them bleed out.
That's exactly right. And like all these debates that you have, I used to see them a lot more in the past of the superiority of the Japanese katana over the European longsword, and that's such a misconception. It was really, the weapons were designed to penetrate the type of armor that was used by the soldier at the time, and whereas in a lot of the feudal Japanese armies, it's a lot of laminar, a lot of leather strips, in which a cutting blade, especially since a lot of the peasantry fielded in the armies had no substantial armor, a cutting blade was superior because you could easily disable or neutralize your opponent there. But in European, where you have in Europe armies where you had a lot of chainmail and to a rare extent, plate. Like you just said, Lance, you needed to break bones. You needed to hack away at your opponent to do concussive damage and to put as much pressure as you could into a small amount of point to penetrate the armor. And then once, like you said, once you have a knight on the ground, it's a stiletto, right into a joint into the armor, or just take the helmet off and just take care of business that way. But so glad you brought that out.
Yeah, there's actually a really good video. It's in French, and I'd have to find it on YouTube. But it's actually like it's a battle school in French, and they purport, I should say, that they train to fight in armor, and the way theoretically that if it is to be believed, the way people fought in the Middle Ages. And the way the armor is set up, they wear armor, and it's like real armor. They show how heavy it is. And they're actually able to maneuver really well in it. And, as far as like actually doing rolls and because the fact is like a lot of the stuff isn't protected. Like the backs of the legs aren't protected, so that allows for easy. You're actually able to fold your leg completely up, and they show how like if you're on your back, you can get up fairly easy. But then they actually show two people dueling. And the whole thing is you're trying to trip the guy. They weren't even like usually even trying to hit each other. They were more like locking up and trying to get stable and trying to trip people or get a blade or get a point into one of those like weak areas that like underneath the shoulder or just like in weird like spots where the armor couldn't protect. It's actually pretty cool watching them actually like go through like their scripted motions and everything.
Yeah,
like that.
no, you're right. I read articles that actually also purporting that the armors were more advanced than at least some of the mainstream would let people to believe, that there were more points of articulation than they thought before. And in fact, they said, besides the weight, you could actually have a majority of your mobility even in Gothic full plate. So yeah, that's great as well. There's a Dragon Mag for those of you D&D out there. I forgot which issue, but it does a great kind of medieval sword versus a Japanese katana analysis. which I would highly recommend to people out there. If you're interested, I could find the issue number. But great material for a kind of a step-by-step analysis between the two types of blades.
And since we're going down this road, I remember fairly recently, I don't know when it was, and I could be misremembering this, but everybody, I think everybody saw like the same video or same movie as a kid of like they showed the Japanese sword master making the katana, and they're showing how they're folding the blade over and over and over again, how they're folding the metal over, and they're talking about how that makes the blade stronger. And I'm not saying it isn't or anything like that, but the reason they did that was because they had really shitty steel, and that was like because of the actual like iron that they had to work with. It wasn't because they were trying to make a super strong sword. It was supposedly, this is what I read, that it was that the quality of the steel that they had wasn't nearly as good as what they had refined over in Europe, and so they had to do that too as a necessity, not like in this like romantic ideal that like the katana is just like the pinnacle, if you will, kind of thing.
Right, and keep in mind that the Japanese swords, although I think, don't get me wrong, I think they're beautifully crafted. I think they're great blades, but because they were so strong, they were also brittle. They chipped easily, whereas European swords, the steel is much more flexible. So the maintenance was less on the European blade than it was on a feudal Japanese blade as well.
There was a really good, and I think it's still. Oh, it was. I think it's still on Netflix. It might not be, but there was a really good documentary about Viking swords and like this like Utrecht or something like. Yeah.
Bear or whatever it's called.
Ulfbert. Which was like during this weird period of history. Like there was this. What is all that noise? Who's breaking things?
I just dropped a bunch of crap.
Well, no, some weird like Ulfbert. If you look it up, it's pretty good, and they just show how like during this period of history these they made these for only this brief period of time. There's these Viking swords showed up, and they were made out of like Damascus steel, and they were really well made, and they were better than any other sword. And then all of a sudden they were gone, which is they think that. What are you doing, Keith? I'm gonna mute you. Jesus. They and then all of a sudden, like he's like stopped making them, and it was like one of those and they think he probably like died or whatever or moved or something, and but they found there's a bunch of these swords that actually have his like signature or whoever this guy was on the sword and everything, and it's a pretty good documentary if you want. And they actually have some big bearded guy that lives in Wisconsin actually that's fully Norwegian, like crafts the sword by the old versions.
What was that documentary? Do you remember the name?
I just found it's like Secrets of the Viking Sword. I believe is what the documentary is.
Very cool.
It was on PBS, and so it was actually it was pretty good. So
sweet.
I believe it's on Hulu Plus. You can see it on Hulu Plus. It's always telling me to watch that because I watch movies and all this other stuff. But
and for those of you out there that Dragon Mag I was referencing, the article is called "Samurai versus Knight." It's on Dragon Magazine issue 323, page 42. Again, great read, great article. Highly recommend it.
So to go back to Excalibur, the headset that Merlin had in the movie. Does anybody know where that ended up?
No idea.
It's in Todd McFarlane's office at Image Comics in a glass case on a head. A friend of mine interviewed with him many years ago, and it was there, and he's like, I know that. Like, is that? And he's like, yep. And they're like, sweet. But yeah. So it's there with the baseball.
Right, you bought the baseball. I worked with Todd McFarlane in the 90s on the heavy metal video game.
Sweet.
Well.
Oh no, I'm thinking Kevin Eastman. I'm confused. Different guy.
Of Eastman and Laird of TMNT fan.
Uh-huh.
That's pretty cool.
I didn't mean to. I confused it with Todd McFarlane. Is he still doing comics?
He is.
Is Spawn still a thing? I have no idea.
Spawn is still a thing. Yes, it's still out there. It's still a monthly
They
publication.
need to make a good movie for Spawn. That movie sucked.
Well, they need to make a good movie for Dungeons and Dragons. So let's
What are you talking about? That one was awesome with Jeremy Irons, and that was cinematic brilliance.
I'm gonna end this call again. Like, how many times am I gonna end this thing? That was horrible. I mean, when she said, "I'm only a low-level wizard," it's like, are you kidding me?
I thought my soul was punched when I heard that.
I need to find this Dragonlance cartoon that's out there too. I haven't seen it.
Oh yeah, I think it's on YouTube.
It really wasn't worth watching.
Oh, I figured, because that's why I've never heard of it.
They only had one, but I was really interested to see the rest of them come out, and they're not true to the book. It's a little off, but if you like Dragonlance, it's worth at least looking at.
Yeah, it's a little off-putting having what's his face Kiefer doing the voice of Raceland and just whatever. It's like it's one of those things where it's like obviously they went and they tried to get like semi-decent names to do the voice acting, but then you're just kind of like you would have just been better off just having nameless guys. So I'm not like drawn out of the immersion of the moment kind of thing. So
they should have had just like Joe DiMaggio or someone like that to voice him.
John DiMaggio. Joe DiMaggio's dead.
Well,
And
this is
Dragonlance
and with Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah, Joe DiMaggio.
Stories about.
How about Dan Castlevania too?
Strange, good story. Joe DiMaggio. You know, he was married to Marilyn Monroe.
Yes.
According to Joe DiMaggio, he set up a date with Marilyn Monroe through like his agent and somebody else. Like he just basically said, "I think I'd like to take you on a date." And so they went to a bar, and he said that he had a couple of drinks with her or something like that, and then nailed her in the backseat of his car. And that was their first date. So, attaboy, Joe.
We'll do it.
Yeah,
Such a romantic.
Yeah, good for him, right? Hey, up until the day that he died, he had a dozen red roses put on her grave every Sunday. For like after she died, every single week. So, yeah, it was just like, you know, he was, even though they were divorced and everything like that, he was still in love with her. So
the one that got away.
Well, and if you read comics, there was, if you read the 100 Bullets, which is, if you read comics, everybody needs to read the entire story of 100 Bullets. But as kind of a throwaway story, the premise of 100 Bullets is that there's this weird secret agency that has all this power, secret society kind of thing. And there's this guy called Agent Graves that will go to people. And there's a much more to the story of this, but the impetus is that he approaches somebody, he hands them a briefcase, and inside the briefcase there is incontrovertible proof that this one person in their life has totally screwed them in some way. Like, oh, why did my life end up so horrible where I am right now? And here's documented evidence of what this person did to ruin your life. And then also within that case is a gun with 100 bullets that is completely 100% untraceable. No matter what you use this gun for, you can't be jailed for it. And so, like, they even have a story where one guy like takes the gun, he goes to the pound, he gets a dog, he goes into the middle of Central Park, he decides to test it out, he shoots the dog in front of everybody at Central Park. The cops come, they arrest him, they take him to jail. He's there for like a half hour. They let him go and they hand him back the gun and say, "You're free to go." So I mean, that was how he knew that, like, you know, it was on the up and up. But there's a little weird side story, like there was a big overarching thing, but they did a weird side story where basically Agent Graves goes to a hospital and he talks to one guy, and as he's leaving, he sees this guy and he goes up and he talks to him, and he's like, because the guy says, "Hey, I remember you," and then he has this conversation with this guy, and he said, it's like, what I did, was it the right thing I did? And he was just like, well, he's just like, well, you tell me. And he's just like, well, I don't think I should have. I mean, really, what I did was horrible, and basically the crux of the story is that it's Joe DiMaggio, and he's the one who assassinated JFK, and that's why they can't find the bullet, basically. And he said, I took, yeah, but JFK was the one who killed Marilyn Monroe, and so that was the crux of the story. Was he's like, but I took him away from, I ruined everybody's life with what I did, and he said, did he do any less to you? And it's just like, and then that was the whole thing. He ruined Joe DiMaggio's life because he killed Marilyn Monroe. So
Right.
yeah, so it's just, it was like it was a good little story. But if you haven't read 100 Bullets, and then that's like one comic out of all 100 issues, and it's just a little side story. But if you read comics and you haven't read 100 Bullets, that is an amazing comic.
Have you read Lucifer?
Which, I mean, Lucifer the comic?
Yeah, the comic book.
I think I read like the first like 4. I remember reading them. I mean, I don't think I read the whole series or anything like that. Robin probably has.
I just saw today on Facebook. I guess they're going to have a TV show.
Yeah, the pilot aired just the other day or something.
But the trailer looks real good.
Yeah, the trailer looks really, really good. The pilot aired, I think it was 2 nights ago, something like that, on was it NBC or Fox or somebody. It's got some interesting characterizations in it. Yeah, Fox. And so the main character of Lucifer Morningstar is being portrayed by Tom Ellis, who's a British actor, of course. And well, it seems every TV series in the States needs to have a British actor in it. So
that's right.
He comes as Satan, fallen from is he fallen from heaven, or
he just retires from hell?
He retires from heaven. Yeah.
He's just like, I'm done.
And so the first pilot is obviously this whole premise of he's hanging out with this chick, and the chick gets shot, or they get gunned down in some kind of shooting incident, and he survives. And so then there's this policewoman who comes on the scene and tries to work out what's going on, and she's got all these questions about how it is possible that he survived and this other woman didn't. And of course that leads up to the partnership of her and him working with the cops, which is where it might go off track slightly. That's the big concern there, is when it starts interlinking with him helping out the cops.
But
in Los Angeles.
I did see in the trailer or the little snippet video that I saw on Facebook, he is in a bar. So I'm hoping that they'll stay true to the comic, and he'll start the bar. And the interaction with another fallen angel comes to tell him, look, you need to come back to hell because it's in chaos. And he's like, I'm not really into that. So I'm really interested to see that. I did not know it aired, so I'll have to check that out.
Certainly has potential to be really good.
What's the name of it?
It's called Lucifer.
Oh, just Lucifer? I thought you said Luther, and I'm thinking, that show that was on the BBC?
That's another one.
Man, you guys with the comic knowledge, it's deep.
Awesome. Yeah.
It's hard to find somebody that isn't super serious about their comic books. I mean, it's like nobody's like a quasi fan kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's either all or
quasi fan. I'm a quasi comic book fan. I read a few comics, but I can't.
What do you read, Scott?
What did I just get? Based on Lance's recommendation, sitting right here. I haven't read it yet. Saga.
Go and read it now. Don't even.
I gotta read it now. Okay. I have to get my
glasses out. Go now and read it.
Yeah, why are you waiting to read that? I mean, it's just just don't plan. You'll want to read the whole thing, and then and then wait, and then wonder why the next graphic novel hasn't come out. Well, yeah, you'll be annoyed October. That the next one hasn't come out.
Right.
October's the next one.
Is yeah. Oh, is it still being? It's not wrapped up. It's not. It's.
Oh no.
No, they've done 4 trades so far.
Right.
And I'm the guy that waits for the big hardcovers. So.
Did you see the Supergirl trailer?
That was actually surprisingly good today. Yeah, that was actually pretty good.
Yeah, I just watched it before coming on. It's actually pretty. Looks fun.
Looks interesting. Let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, I mean.
That's kind of the thing is some of these are Some
It
of
looks
these
more
stay true to the
lighthearted.
book. Some of these kind of go off in their own direction, and they change the characters in fundamental ways that are just like, why'd you do that? Like, I don't know. I have an issue with particularly the X-Men movies.
Oh yeah, those are terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, they haven't really portrayed some of those characters correctly. Now, I don't know if it's a Hollywood thing where they have to have their own little spin on things, that they have to have ultimate creative control and blah blah blah. But it just, when you take a character, and I'll even narrow it down. I'm specifically talking about Rogue, where she's just not the character that she should be, or she is in the book that everybody knows her as. It kind of takes something away. It's like, oh, okay, well, when is she gonna get invulnerability in flight and this, that, and the other thing? It's just like, okay, never. Well, all right, what's going on? And the interaction between her and Mystique, and how they don't even recognize each other or even know each other. It's just like, what are you doing? And then the whole Phoenix thing is just like, I was so excited. I can't tell you the excitement I had when I saw that Firebird at the end of X2, and I was just so excited because I'm like, oh my god, they're going to introduce Starjammers and the Shi'ar and the Imperial Guard, and it's all going to happen, and then, oh man, and then we got X3.
Yeah, that was 2 hours a waste of time, in my opinion.
It was just.
And I don't even know the comics, so.
Yeah, I mean, right there. There you go. It was just, what are you guys doing? I don't know. Thoughts? Opinions?
I guess it's hard to be. If you're that much of a fan, they're never going to live up to your expectations, right? I mean, I guess the Avengers has been living up to people's expectations, but.
No, I think they totally. I mean, what I really don't like about movies, about the superhero movies, and they follow the comic books to a certain extent, but then they have to have the Hollywood ending. You can't have a movie with like Ultron without Ultron being destroyed. Whereas in the comics he'd find a way to get out of it, that kind of thing. So or like look at Spider-Man 2 with Doc Octopus. Well, they killed off Doc Ock at the end. I mean, it's just kind of like.
Right?
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, I mean, no, he goes to prison, and then you have him break out at some point. I mean, it's stuff like that that bothers me.
They haven't learned their lessons yet, I guess.
Yeah, it's just like, wait a minute, Alex, you're leaving us? Wait a minute, time out. Alex is talking about leaving us. You're leaving us, Alex?
Wait, where's Alex?
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. There's some work I want to get done tonight before hitting the sack for the Kickstarter, but it was amazing getting a chance to talk to you guys.
We're working right now. This is work.
That's why I'm going to be leaving them in your very capable hands, Mike.
Well, Alex, do you have any parting comments about Battle Bards or anything like that you wanna say, or anything that
let's be talking about that.
Yeah, sure, man. We really want to make sure that the community is involved in what we do. In fact, the whole reason that we canceled the first Kickstarter and started again was we heard back loud from the community that we needed to change our business models, and we did. So what we're doing right now is a lot of the audio that we're putting forth is actually determined by our backers, not by us. So just wanted to invite for anybody out there that even pledges $1, you get to decide on what
pull it up on your computer.
You guys will get to decide what we do. So we're going to have another vote coming up really soon for what's called source music, which is actually music intended to be heard by characters. And we're currently taking suggestions for what backers will be voting on, and we're really excited to see what the community would come up with. So just want to really invite, we listen to every little piece of feedback, whether it's from Twitter, from our Kickstarter, YouTube, you name it, we read it all. So we're looking forward to see what the community comes up with for this next vote.
And what's your home website? They can go to Kickstarter and just search for Battle Bards. What's your home website if somebody wanted to?
Battlebards.com.
Battlebards.com.
That's right. Very very creative.
I'm surprised it was available. You didn't have to go with .biz or .net or anything like that.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, not gov, not .xxx or anything like that.
Oh,
You're able
man,
to.
that would have been
Maybe
awesome.
one day.
It's just
Maybe one
available
day.
.xxx, and you know,
Well, I
not that
mean,
kind of
look,
site.
hold on. I mean, D&D has a book of erotic fantasy, so who knows, man. But yeah, so really want to invite you guys to tell us what you want us to sort. It's really the gamers are in the driver's seat. We do whatever it is that you guys want.
All right, man.
Is this
Well,
like
I
a one-time
appreciate.
purchase, or is it a subscription? Sorry, Lance. Go ahead.
Oh,
Oh,
go
no
ahead.
worries.
Go ahead.
So, originally, it was subscription, and we were halfway through our Kickstarter. We were well on our way of getting funded, but we just got so many messages and emails from people saying, you know what, that's kind of okay, but I really wish you guys would really purchase, and everybody had their reasons. So we actually went to a purchase model. So now everyone's going to be able to cherry pick exactly what they want. So Lance, maybe you're not all into sound effects. You just want your music for your ambient and your soundscapes, then you're just going to be able to purchase all the music and soundscapes you want. Other people can experiment with voiceovers and sound effects. So it's going to be very similar to like an iTunes model. You guys are going to be able to share mixes with each other. There's going to be a whole community around this. So, yeah.
Cool. Looks good.
Sweet. Well, thanks so much, guys.
No,
So,
thank you, Alex. And
Mike,
yeah, we'll
Mike, please behave.
I said but earlier. I'm behaving.
All right.
All right.
Well, cool. Thanks a lot for being on, Alex. Hopefully we'll talk soon.
Absolutely.
And are you
anytime,
going to be at Gen Con or Origins or anything, or if people want to check you out at a convention?
We're gonna try. That's kind of Mike's forte. That's his responsibility area. So I'll let him field that.
Well,
Awesome.
it all depends.
Yeah. Yeah. good
That
job.
was very Barry of you. All right. Well, have a good night,
guys.
Alex.
Take care.
Answer
Thanks
emails.
so much. Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, getting back to what I was saying about the superhero movies, it's just like, I mean, Marvel started doing a better job. I mean, when it was Marvel, not Sony, Marvel started doing a better job of like hooking the movies together. But I mean, they're still doing the same problems. I mean, it's just like, it's like, the villains are just, are total fire and forget, or like in the case of Mandarin, they completely and totally screw up the character. I mean, I realize that, like, I sound like a total fanboy, but I mean, the Mandarin is like iconic Iron Man villain, and they hinted at him in the first movie, and they continued to hint at him, and then I was like, and finally they're gonna have the Mandarin. I was like, awesome! I can't wait, because the Mandarin was just like, he was just like one of the best villains in my opinion in the Marvel universe, and then they turn him into this weird little corporate stooge chump, and I was just like, yeah,
it turned into a joke.
And I was just kind of like.
But you were saying there was some kind of outtake that they filmed. Right?
There is an outtake that I believe is on the Thor Blu-ray, if I remember correctly.
I mean, all they need to do is just kind of start Iron Man 4 with that, right, or something. Maybe if they want to bring him back.
And basically it showed, and I think you can find it on YouTube now. But I mean, you can see where like Ben Kingsley is in prison, and he's got his little group of followers, and this guy comes in to interview him, but then it turns out that guy's there to kidnap him, and then he's like, and then Ben Kingsley or whatever, the guy who's the actor, says, "Oh, don't kill me." And he's like, "I'm not going to kill you. That isn't for me to decide." He's like, "What do you mean?" He's like, he says something along the lines of, he doesn't like when somebody pretends that he's him, and then he like talks into his little wristwatch and he goes, "I have the target, I need extraction," and then you just hear these explosions in the background, and then it just kind of fades out. It's just like, so they're theoretically they're taking
they're backpedaling on that.
But I always got the impression that was just kind of like a throwaway. That was just kind of like something they did to make.
But they knew they were doing it
fanboys
wrong
happy.
if they filmed that, right? Like they knew.
Well, yeah, or it was just kind of like a thing where
Was
they
the
were like,
director
okay,
on
we're gonna give this to you, kind of thing.
That's kind of the take I took from it too, because if that was truly a take that they did in Iron Man, it would have been with the Iron Man 3. It wouldn't have been with Thor. So it seems like they did that in response to the outcry that, what are you doing with the Mandarin? What's going on? And then maybe they just filmed this short little thing to kind of placate people and say, look, we're gonna do something with that. You know, just calm down. It's okay.
I mean, they have movies scheduled
keep
for
buying
like,
our
the next
merchandise, please.
5 or 6 years, right? Like I think I saw like a potential release list. It's just
Yeah, that was amazing at that one thing. Oh, here's a weird thing I was gonna say. You can find it on the DVD for Game of Thrones for season 3, I think. There's an outtake that they didn't put in, and and the deleted scenes are some of the really good ones. There's a deleted scene of Grandmaster Maester Pycelle, who is the same actor, mind you, that he was General Veers in Empire Strikes Back and the bad guy for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Yep.
The
with the Holy Grail. Yeah.
Grandmaster Pycelle goes down to talk to Tywin, who's fishing, and it's like it's right before the Red Wedding, and so he shows him, and he's catching fish, and then he's killing them as like kind of an homage to like the fact that the Tullys, whatever, and so Grandmaster Pycelle comes down there to talk to him about whatever, and Tywin says, it's like, because he says, I've not been asked to be back on the Royal Council again. He's like, well, maybe I should put you back in the cells, and then he kind of goes through his bumbling, Pycelle thing, and then Tywin says, oh, just stop it. And he's like, it's like, does anybody even believe this anymore? And then all of a sudden, like, Grandmaster Pycelle, he actually stands up straight, and he's like, sometimes I even believe in it sometimes. And he's like, really? And then you get the impression that Pycelle, his whole bumbling attitude and his whole he's flabbergasted and doesn't know what's going on, is an act. And he's just and he basically says, he's like, why do you even do it?
That scene.
I don't know, but he's like, why do you even do it? And he said it's because he's like, I only want to stay alive as long as I can and be in the garden. But I don't want to be I don't want to be the tallest flower, because the tallest flower always gets plucked. He's like, but I want to be in the garden for my entire life, and that's that. And it was like, find that scene. It's great.
I don't think it's deleted. I've seen that scene, and I don't have the DVDs.
Well, it's on YouTube. You can find it on YouTube. So
it may have been. I don't know if they cut it differently over here either.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a great deleted scene, and it's one of those things that And I'm sad that they took that out, because it's like it actually makes Pycelle to me, something more than just the stooge that he is. So.
Yeah, they've hinted at that on several occasions where he is more than he appears. The scene where he's getting dressed and then he hunches over and he kind of it's him getting into the role, and then he obviously goes out to the meeting. But very very few scenes with his showing. Yeah, there you go. There's the link. Showing his true self. Yeah. Cool. Really cool.
No, it's good. It's the show does a really good job. Plus, really the show was when they what was it that the casting has been just perfect. Really, they haven't screwed up on a casting choice, really, totally. So, it's just that's probably one of the things that makes it good. So,
I think getting Diana Rigg was fantastic, and also what's his name that just turned up? My brain fart.
You're thinking about Jonathan Pryce.
Yes, I am. Exactly. Jonathan Pryce. Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect. I would just like to. I hope. I'm going to hope that that Joel Eddy is still listening. F you, Joel Eddy, and Mandarin. They totally screwed that up. So you can go sit and spin. So you stupid Sasquatch. Anyway.
I'll say the mountain is cast perfectly. Jamie Lannister. Perfect.
Well, the weird thing is the Mountain has actually changed actors. It's just they just haven't basically they didn't really give him anything to do the first few times you saw him.
Yeah.
So
he was just in the background, but when the just the guy is massive. The guy that literally crushes that guy's skull with his hands. That was so awesome. And that guy is literally, didn't he break some Viking record here? He took.
Well, no, he was a strongman competition guy, and he broke some record in the strongman competition.
An 1,100-year-old record or something like that, if not.
Yeah, he lifted a log that weighed like 4 tons or something.
A mast, yeah.
4 tons.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but the thing is that I didn't really like the fact that they had that scene with the disgraced maester or whatever, with the weird body in the back moving around. I was like, oh, come on, can we just like not like put too fine a point on it? Yes, okay, fine. He's got the dead body of the mountain behind him. Just like whatever. Just that annoyed me. Just there are certain things that I want to happen, that I seriously want to happen. I mean, it's like one of the things that bothered me in the show was that when Cersei got her premonition, or her future read, the woman told her that her younger brother would kill her. And that's why she wants to kill Tyrion, because she assumes it's Tyrion. But everybody thinks it's like Jaime Lannister, that was like maybe like born like 3 minutes after her or something like that. And so everybody assumes it's Jaime. It isn't Tyrion, because it says your younger brother will strangle you to death. Was what the person suggested. And so everybody's gotten their. Well, yeah, and it's like, everybody's got this idea of Jaime like choking her to death with like the golden hand or something. I mean, so it's just like, oh, Dan, you can't go.
I'm sorry, man.
Talk about something.
No, it's all good. I gotta run. I was watching hockey. That's why I was running late tonight. It was Game 7 for a good hockey game.
Oh, who won? Who won that game, by the way?
The Rangers beat the Caps in overtime.
Oh, there you go.
Came back from 3-1 deficit.
Sorry to digress here about telling. What the hell happened to my Wild? Jesus. It's just like they just rolled over. I don't know. The Blackhawks just have our kryptonite, man. That was just depressing.
They were well rested. Yeah. The Wild, they used everything they possibly could in that first series, and they were just spent.
I don't know. And then Dubnyk became mortal at the totally wrong time.
Yeah. His deal with the devil ran out.
I don't know. And the thing is that like now it's like we're in everybody now we're in like the Wild fans, we're just in like well, what do we do, because for the last we finally got like kind of good these last couple of years, and then before that though we were just mediocre, and so we never got like a really good draft pick, and so we don't have just a flat out scorer, we don't have a flat out shooter on our team, and it's just like and it shows that we just don't have a guy that like whenever he winds up to take a shot, that like the opposing crowd like holds their breath, before it happens. We just don't have that guy on our team, and you can't get a guy like that through free agency or anything. So I don't know.
Not them, because they spent all their money on Parise and Suter.
Well, yeah, $98 million each, and I mean, and Parise's like, he's good. I don't know why we spent that much on Suter. I mean, it's just
he's good. They're asking too much of him. He's not a number 1 guy. He's got to be the number 2 guy, where you're not really looking out for him, and he's going to produce. He's a good defenseman now.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good year to be a. Well, it hasn't been a good years for a long time to be a Minnesota sports fan. So, but whatever. At least the Twins are above 500, but they were playing shitty teams, so that's the only reason why. And the Vikings are going to stink. What do you got coming up, Dan? Pimp something. What do you got coming up?
Oh, well, Monday we're going to put up episode 100 on Monday of the Geek All-Stars. So,
and congratulations on that, my friend. So
thank you very much.
That's pretty impressive.
A lot of episodes.
Yeah.
That's actually 100 episodes, Scott.
I know. I have no clue what that. I mean, I stopped my podcast after like 30.
You had a podcast?
Yeah, back in 2005. I was one of the first 10 podcasters. Did an article about us in LA Times. Anyway, didn't want to take away from the Geek All Stars 100.
Oh, appreciate it though. Oh, that's fine.
Very cool.
Yeah, he's over Googling Board Game Geek and whatsitworth.com.
It's
But no, that's really cool, Dan, and I'm sorry that I didn't get you a little audio clip or anything for it, but
That's fine. I'm going to put all the audio clips in 101, so feel free to send me
I didn't.
or shoot me the audio clip for next one if you want.
All right, well, yeah, but I mean, no, like, hardcore congratulations to you for pulling that off, and yeah, it's like, so I mean, is it something big and special? You got any like teasers you can give me for that one?
Oh well, we're doing a So You Want to Be a Podcaster episode. So it's all about kind of talking to we're talking to Scott Johnson from the Frog Pants Network. He does The Instance and the Morning Stream and Film Sack, some great podcasts. And also I talked to Josh Augustine, former PC Gamer editor. He works for SOE now. So talking to those two guys, those are two of my kind of idols in podcasting. So outside the realm of board games. So I wanted to get them on and talk about putting on a podcast. So Chris and I talked to them, and then we talked to Brian Ibbett from Coverville. He's also one of the oldest podcasters, and he knows all sorts of things about the laws, obviously the laws of what you can and can't do with music in podcasts. So it was pretty cool to talk to him and pick his brain on that. And check out Coverville. His show is awesome. So if you like,
one of the first, for sure.
Yep. Yeah, he's up to like, he's well over 1,100 episodes or something along that, something crazy like that. And he's a great guy too. All those guys are great.
You know who's great? You're great, Dan.
You are, my friend. Thanks a lot, guys.
All right, take care,
to
Dan.
talking to you guys. I'll see you soon.
See you then.
Thanks for popping in, bud. Sorry, Mike. You had background chatter there. I had to mute you for a second. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's okay. My girlfriend came up and was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in a podcast." And my phone's on the charger over on the other side of the room, so I'm like, I'm not gonna get up in the middle of a podcast. That's kind of rude. So.
Aw, well, but it isn't rude that we have to listen to you get your get talked to then, or what?
Yeah, I got a talking to there. So I'm in the doghouse now, but whatever. It's all good.
All right. Well, at least you take it in stride.
Oh, I always do.
I don't know what were we even talking about.
We were talking about the Avengers and how Hollywood spin on it.
Well, yeah. The whole thing is that like what I was gonna say, and I'll open it up to your opinions as well. I mean, it's like okay, Daredevil at least put Kingpin in prison, so theoretically like he can get out or still manipulate things from prison. They didn't like kill him at the end, which is good, but it's like, but if you look at all the other like shows, I mean, it's just like it seems like if you look at the Iron Man ones, it's like first of all, it's like it's like the second movie, Whiplash. What a horrible villain. It was just like a total B-rated villain from the Silver Age of comics that just ridiculous. They're just not impressive at all. And then like but the thing about it is like with these Avengers movies is like the first movie worked because they kept it sane. They said, okay, well here we have like Loki as the bad guy, so you have one bad guy who has an army of drones, so it works because then you have just like a bunch of stormtroopers you can kill off that are nothing, and then you can focus on the heroes. But now all of a sudden with this Avengers 2, which mind you was still a good movie and I enjoyed it, it was like first of all it felt like the last Iron Man because all of a sudden now we have a bunch of robots running around that you can blow up, and it's just like, and it just like once again just drones, so you have all these like like weird like robots that like Ultron's controlling, and then but they added like a bunch of more characters that are just like basically in there to tie in to other things that Marvel is doing. So it's just like, oh well, we're going to have Andy Serkis show up and be this, like, arms runner, and we're going to mention Wakanda briefly. So obviously Andy Serkis is going to end up with an arm. Like they're going to give him a new arm, and he's going to be a villain in the Black Panther movie. You just know that's going to happen. You have the Hulk going off and doing whatever Lord knows what to set up whatever Hulk movie they've got plotted out and thought up.
Well, the next Hulk movie planned is Planet Hulk, isn't it?
Well, that's the rumor, but I mean, he's got to go somewhere, though, right? So I mean, the idea is that he's got to get sent somewhere, and like, if I remember correctly in the books, didn't he get sent off planet by Doctor Strange? So I mean, that's who knows when Doctor Strange shows up.
It was Iron Man, Reed Richards, all the Hank Pym, all of them got together.
Oh, the Illuminati. That was
said,
yeah.
We found a planet for you. You can go and live there forever. And then he, being the Hulk, he raged, and then went through a black hole and landed on Planet Hulk.
Yeah, and then he came back, and then it was World War Hulk. But
oh man, if they do that, oh my god.
Well, World War Hulk was pretty awesome. I'll say that.
But no, they can't. But they can't do that because Mr. Fantastic and they're have that. So it's like getting all the licenses and all this other stuff put together to make these movies the way that the books were. So it's gonna be kind of different.
Well, when this new Fantastic Four movie bombs again, then theoretically they'll be able to get it back, just like they got Spider-Man back, for Civil War. I don't know. It's just it just bothers me because it's like this movie was what it was, and it was still fun and it was still interesting, but it's like it's one of those things where you could just see all the different movie and TV show tie-ins that they were just making sure that they wedged in and they didn't forget about. So they because it's a brand now. It isn't just a movie, which whatever. I'm probably just complaining about nothing, but still, it's I found it annoying. So.
Well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but I heard that the next one, they're going to split up the main characters. Like, a lot of them aren't going to be in the next Avengers. Did this movie set that up, or?
Yeah, it does.
Somewhat, and I don't know how they're going to do the Infinity War or whatever they're going to call it, Infinity whatever, with them split up, or with the amount of heroes that they have at their disposal. I mean, Falcon is just not going to cut it, It's just not going to happen. What's he going to do?
What's your special power? I can fly.
Is that their secret weapon? Is like they're going to make him, Thanos is going to laugh himself to death? I mean, it's a plan, I guess. But I mean, Falcon's not going to cut it. They need heavy hitters. They need Reed Richards. They need the Thing. They haven't introduced Nova yet. He was in the original Infinity Gauntlet. You can't have X-Men because that's over here, so Cyclops and Beast aren't going to be there. So a lot of these Infinity guys, Adam Warlock, I think they're kind of... I don't think this is giving anything away, but I think they're having Thor fill in the role of Adam Warlock. They're not even going to try and introduce him. And it's just like, what are you doing?
Well, there's that in the background at the collector in Guardians of the Galaxy. You could see Warlock's egg in the background. So they hinted at it, but maybe it was just an Easter egg, just something to throw at you, just to say, oh, kind of neat, that thing. But they said the next Guardians of the Galaxy movie is going to have more to do with Thanos than the next Avengers movie, and then the next big Avengers thing is going to be Civil War, and then they're going to bring it all kind of back together with Guardians of the Galaxy combined with Avengers combined with so then that'll be the big the Infinity Gauntlet which whatever. I mean it's it'll be interesting to say the least. Hopefully James Brolin will still be alive and can still do the voice for Thanos 10 years from now or something. So, which he's a perfect voice for him. Perfect voice.
I have to say it's pretty good. Yeah, he's pretty good, and I have no idea who he is. I know he's famous. He's done all these movies and blah 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 blah, but they're not movies that I've ever watched. So I'm like, when I came out of the movie, I'm like, who is that? And they're like, oh my god, one of the people that I go to my movies with, my comic book movies with, he's like, he's in everything, dude. He's in this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, never seen any of that. Sorry. But yeah, that voice is just, it's going to be iconic. So.
He's a bit of a that guy actor. If you'll see him in a movie and you'll say, oh, it's that guy. It's just like, so you'll have that kind of.
Yeah, you played W. Come on.
Yeah, he's kind of the Gary Oldman, I guess, where he's in everything, you just don't know it's him.
Yeah, he's played a lot of like mobsters and that kind of thing too. I'm trying to think of the movie. Was he in?
He was in No Country for Old Men too. He was the
yeah, he was. he was the guy that
Who's the
found
good
the
guy?
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that found the money. Sorry, I said James Brolin. I should have said Josh Brolin. I apologize.
Josh
James
Brolin.
Brolin's, I believe, his
It's
dad.
okay. Joe,
Um,
John, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, he's a total that guy actor. He was the crooked cop in American Gangster. He played the bad guy in Milk. And he was jeez, God, I can't remember. Oh, an older movie. Dang it.
But now he's
Can't
stand-up.
think of the name.
So,
He was in the
Well, yeah,
Goonies too.
Well, he was the kid. He was the older
in
brother
Goonies,
in Goonies. Yeah. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, he's got
Thank you,
the
Peter.
perfect gravelly voice for the role. So, yeah. So I mean, the thing is that it's kind of a weird double-edged sword that like you can come out with these movies, and then like you're really excited and happy that these movies come out, but then like the fan base just then will pick them apart and rip them to shreds if they feel that like they haven't lived up to what they want to see on the screen.
Well, I think that's because we've for 10, 15 years, maybe even longer for some of us, have subscribed to these books and kind of have grown up with them, and we know them inside out, and the characters, we speak to these characters, or these characters speak to us at such a level where it's just ingrained in us that Rogue is supposed to be this way, Wolverine is this way, Sabretooth is this way, Omega Red is this way, and when they take something and they change it dramatically for whatever effect, for their own creative flair, or because they're going to introduce something later down the road, or whatever the case may be, it just kind of irks people that have grown up with this kind of stuff. You've had this stuff, you kind of have an expectation of X, and it completely falls flat. And so I think that's kind of what you see these really hardcore fans, these guys that have 10,000 comic books or 20,000 comic books. I mean, what Uncanny is about to hit 600, and that's just Uncanny. That's not including Astonishing or regular X-Men, which is on its Volume 2 and pretty well into it, or Volume 3. So you have all of this content, and they want to put their own spin on it, and they want to do their own thing so badly that they just disregard the material. And I have to say that, and I'll wrap up with this, Ryan Reynolds doing Deadpool and him being so interwoven with the content, and he's such a proponent for doing it as close as possible, I think that's probably going to be one of the better Marvel movies we see for a very long time.
I think Ant-Man will be okay, though. Yeah. I think Ant-Man will be a, for lack of a better description, Ant-Man will be a perfect showcase for the effects. I mean, that's what that'll be. I mean, Ant-Man will be almost. I think our panel here could probably tell us what the plot of Ant-Man's going to be before it even starts. You're going to have an aged Henry Pym, which bugs me on a certain level because very good. Turning over the technology to Scott Lang. Scott Lang then uses the technology, kind of maybe not. Because Scott Lang, checkered past or whatever, and then uses it for his own devices for a little while, learns a hard lesson about being a hero, maybe something happens with Hank Pym dying or something because, Michael Douglas is already 1,000, so, you'll either, something will happen where, and then the actor who was brilliant in, I can't think of the guy's name, but he was brilliant in the House of Cards, as he was in that show, becomes the Yellow Jacket, and then using the technology for evil or whatever, and then Scott Lang has his moment of
His call to action.
You should be a screenwriter.
yeah, his call to action. Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's just like and then he'll, and then he
don't they all have to
then
write themselves
fight.
first episode?
Well, yeah, and then he'll do battle with Yellow Jacket and probably, kill him or something, because of course you have to kill the villain. The villain can't go to prison. We can't have that happen. So it's just like we'll kill off the Yellow Jacket, and then he will then learn, and then we'll have some secret special ending where Nick Fury will show up at Scott Lang's apartment and offer him a job. I mean, just, and that's what we'll see. I mean, it was just like to put Ant-Man in the realm, and in all honesty, I mean, what bugs me about that trailer is they actually say that like Ant-Man is like, oh, you're gonna have super strength when you're small. No, Ant-Man never had super strength. He never did.
Thank you for recognizing that, because I've had to explain this to I don't know how many people so far. Actually, Alex's wife, when she watched that trailer, she was like, really, he shrinks and he gets superpowers? And I'm like, no, it's just he's small, but he has the strength of his normal size. It's just disproportionate. I'm sorry if I stole your thunder right there, but
no, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, it's just he doesn't get super powerful. He doesn't get like invulnerability. I mean, but there's a certain point where you have to write that in because it doesn't make any sense. I mean, it's just like, oh, so you're tiny and you can fly a winged ant. Yeah, I mean, in the comics it works because the comics you make Ant-Man be involved in plots where his miniaturization ability is important. But
he's a team member. He's not a star.
Couldn't he get big too?
Yes, and I wonder if that could be.
Well, that happened later. He became Giant Man. No, I remember for a while, Ant-Man actually was called the Irredeemable Ant-Man, and it was basically a guy that wasn't Scott Lang and wasn't Henry Pym, and he got a hold of the Ant-Man powers, and he was using it for like really weird purposes, like watching women take showers and stuff like that. It was actually a pretty good run. But it was just called the Irredeemable Ant-Man, and and it was actually, if you can track that down, it's worth a read. So,
I was not aware of the Irredeemable Ant-Man, but now I have
Irredeemable Ant-Man. Yes.
100 Bullets. I'm gonna have to look that up too. I'm not very familiar with that. But
yes.
To kind of switch gears on you here, not so much, but I'm gonna go to DC.
Yes, here we go. Eric O'Grady is the third character to take up the title of Ant-Man. He is a low-level agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. who stumbles upon the Ant-Man suit in S.H.I.E.L.D.'s headquarters, a man of few morals and willing to lie, cheat, and steal and manipulate in order to get ahead in life. Eric stole the armor for his own selfish plans, which included using his status as a superhero to seduce women and humiliate and torment others. He had his own short-lived title before being part of other teams, such as joining the Avengers, the Initiative, as his first team, and then joining the Thunderbolts, which was an awesome comic book. Yep. But more recently, Secret Avengers, where that was my little ad hominem there, where the character perished heroically while defending a child against a villain known as Father. But yes, the Irredeemable Ant-Man.
I will be checking that out. But DC, I think, does a very good job of paying kind of
giving up their films
for that last Batman movie. We can ignore that one. We'll just shelve that. But the first two were actually pretty good. Scarecrow ended up in jail. Joker ended up in jail. Ra's al Ghul, obviously, he's being taken to the Lazarus Pit, but which they never even introduced for some reason.
No, I think they just decided that was way too. I don't know. I think that was just way too out there for there, because they wanted to steep the Christopher Nolan universe in as much reality as possible.
Yeah, and then Watchmen, of course. I have to say that, because that was just such a phenomenal movie, and I actually do like the ending, the change of the ending that they actually did. I thought it was a lot better than a giant squid monster. Hope I'm not spoiling anything for anybody. And then V for Vendetta was just I can't say enough about that movie. That movie is true to the book. I mean, you can almost actually literally pull the comic book out, open up a panel, and watch the scene and read it on the comic book. It's almost identical. fantastic job. I think that DC really has a very strong command on their for their fanfare and the transition to movies, where Marvel's kind of there. They're getting there. They're kind of picking up a little steam. And I think it was Keith. I think you just said something about you being worried about Deadpool because it's Fox. That's funny because yes, I think everybody's worried about that. Anything Fox touches, it just kind of falls apart. Yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is strong enough to hold that together. I hope. That's
good acting never offsets crap writing.
I don't know, man. The trailers that I've seen and the pictures that we've seen and all the fan stuff that they're putting out there, it's pretty good stuff. I mean,
X-Men 3 had great actors, and that story went right off the rails. So.
Well, I can't argue that.
And it's the same studio. That's why I'm worried.
Yeah. Hopefully, hopefully, we don't have a Firefly on our hands here.
There you go.
Who was it that had Constantine? They just cancelled. Was that Fox?
Was it? I don't actually.
Yeah, it was Fox, and it got canceled.
I've only seen the first episode, and I think that, as I said, I've only seen the first episode, but I heard it got better and better. And the guy portraying him was really, really good, I thought, in that first episode. And so much better than whatever the fuck they think they were doing with Keanu Reeves at that time. That was just crazy.
That was kind of interesting. Keanu Reeves as Constantine.
But
the show
was really good.
Yeah, stick with it. I would say it's pretty good, and that's probably why Fox dropped it. It's because it was actually good. But like Firefly, I mean, it's one of those things where it's just not. It's not there yet. Constantine doesn't have this massive following. Like if you put a Superman or a Green Lantern or a Wonder Woman show on or something like that, one of these huge like Flash, you're not going to get all these guys with Constantine. That's just not that
DC
well
screwed him over.
Yeah. So
by moving him back into the universe. So.
Yeah. Well, they're talking about. I mean, there is a petition or something online to bring it back, and the fans are really, really, really pushing this hard. But same thing happened with Firefly. The Browncoats came out and they rallied together, and actually, ultimately, they put enough money together to make a movie. I mean, what kind of? Those are the fans that will never leave you. They'll always support you no matter what you're doing, and they just will go down with the ship, so to speak. It's just amazing.
There's something about NBC picking it up, maybe.
I don't care who picks it up, as long as it just stays the same, and just more of it. Just keep going. But yeah, actually watch the series. It is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Has anybody played any good board games lately?
You ever play a game called Space Truckers?
Are you talking about Galaxy Truckers or Space Truckers?
Oh, wait. I don't know if it's Galaxy Truckers. My buddy bought it for his family, and he's like, hey, dude, let's try this out. And it's where you have a ship, different size. You have the different sizes. There's 1, 2, and 3. And then you basically take these tiles and put this thing together real quick.
Yeah, Galaxy Truckers, amazing
Galaxy Truckers. There you go. I played that recently.
That's a great game.
It was pretty fun.
One of the most epic moments of Galaxy Truckers that I played, we were playing once, and it's one of my favorite games. And so I think that might be, well, no, I probably like Dungeon Lords better, but I mean, it's definitely probably 2 as far as a lot of games for me. Like the one guy literally like all but like asteroids and lasers and everything destroyed his entire ship except for like basically one dude in the cockpit and like 2 other things, and that was it. But he had no engines left. But as per the rules, you have momentum still in space, so you just continue going straight forward, and you just and he made it through the next like 7 cards because he couldn't get destroyed. So the idea was this one dude sitting in like basically a cockpit, just slowly moving forward through space, heading in the right direction, and eventually ends up and lands in docks, and actually like he had one token, like one thing that he delivered and everything like that. That was probably like the funniest thing that we ever saw in a game of Galaxy Truckers. But usually, go ahead.
A Galaxy Trucker is a game of 2 halves, or 3 if you build it that badly.
Yes. In my gaming group, it's tough to get them to play because the couple of the guys that I play with, they don't like the timed aspect of like building your ship. Somebody's bug zapper just went off.
I like it, but my problem is I fail to play the game as much as just see what I can build and see what the hell happens, and that's all I care.
That's the fun about it.
It's just amusing myself. I think it's fantastic.
The iPad version is quite entertaining. It's really
the iPad version is one of the best iPad games you can get.
Yeah.
Didn't it win an award?
I don't believe in Apple products, so I wouldn't know.
I played a few Kickstarter games.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I played Dragon's Ransom. You guys heard of that one?
No.
It's a reverse dungeon crawler, is what the subtitle is called.
Oh yeah. Rado did a run through of it, didn't he?
You play the minions that you're trying to send at the heroes to try to kill them before your deck runs out. I would give it it's like 80% done. It's like almost there. You know, like I wish they could have recorded me blind play testing it because they would fix probably like 10 things. But it's kind of fun. You basically it's a solitaire game, but we played it 2-player, and just to talk about the moves to make. And you're building up monster chains to send at the heroes, and then the heroes have its deck is seeded sort of like Pandemic. So you flip up a hero attack card, and the heroes will attack the chain of monsters that is facing them. So you try to basically get your monsters to attack the heroes and defeat them before the heroes kill your monsters. It's kind of fun. I mean, it's a Kickstarter thing. It's decent, but like I said, it's a great idea, but it needed like a little more polish, I think, to make it like perfect. Found like 5 rule problems basically while playing it, but not bad. I played Scribe's Arena. Anybody heard of that one?
I have, yeah.
It's Hangman with powers and spells and abilities. And that was quite entertaining, actually. And the graphics are really neat. The artwork is really like super high fantasy. And you're basically trying to guess the other person's word. And you're playing in an arena, which changes the rules of Hangman. And then you have spells that you can use to guess extra letters or take away letters from the other person. There's all kinds of weird little tweaks. Hangman with special powers is the best way I can describe it.
Very cool.
Also played Strife, which is really good.
That Strife is amazing. That game's awesome.
For a micro game size game, it's really great.
Well, if I can talk for a second, I've played. I have my copy of Project Elite, which I've played to death. I posted my video a couple of days ago. It's already got $1 billion on Kickstarter, but that game is awesome. I was worried I wouldn't like the timed rolling of the dice.
Yeah.
Because I didn't like that in Steam Park at all. I didn't enjoy that. I think it's because it's cooperative. And because of the fact that you can use your dice as you roll them, instead of trying to come up with a perfect combo and then being done, so it's very fast and frenetic. And plus it's co-op, so it's one of those things where not that I would expect any of my friends to cheat, but when you're playing Steam Park and you're rolling those dice, first of all, those dice sucked because they were just so light and they would just bounce everywhere. You're focused in on your dice, on your little thing, and you're focused in on those, and so you're trusting that the other people at the table, in Roll for the Galaxy, they're not gonna F you and oh yeah, I totally rolled that, it's just because you have no way of knowing. I mean, you have to believe that they're not gonna cheat, but that's fine, whatever. But when you're playing a co-op, you don't have to worry about that because you're all working together to try to get it done, and so the whole like, got to get a die to make myself move, or you can roll your dice and you have your gun primed and ready to shoot, but now you got your 2 last dice and you're trying to get your guy to the perfect spot to shoot the gun, and it works really well. And like with the timed aspect of 2 minutes, you can set that up really well, and it really it'd be one thing if it'd be a pretty average game at best if it was something where it was like just total tactical combat. Okay, we move our guys here. All right, now the aliens move. Okay, now we move. It would just be kind of like just yet another game down the pipe. It was just like that with variable player powers and different equipment. But the way this is set up, it's really awesome. I mean, it's just amazing, and I just a lot of fun, a lot of screaming and yelling at the table, and that's like it's a total like event game. And plus, you can play like an entire map in like 45 minutes. And it isn't like a minis game where we'll check in for the next 3 hours. This is what we're gonna be playing. So I think it's gonna appeal to people out there. So yeah, and plus it's a total break off for Artipia, and well, I mean, Draw Lab is like the kind of like the people that like the impetus of the game, but Konstantinos, he was supposed to be on tonight, but now apparently he's not going to show up. He's going to be on next week, I guess. But like you can see his design aspects like kind of showing up in a few areas, but it's like it's almost a like true Ameritrash game, really, with all the dice rolling and everything like that. So it's kind of neat to see Artipia Games kind of going into that genre of game. I'm kind of because all the other stuff that they come up with have been just pretty much straight up Euros. And they've got their games that I love Drumroll. I really enjoy Among the Stars. So and Archon was like I really think Archon, like, I don't know why people didn't like that, but Archon is like one of like a game that I've played constantly. So I don't know what the deal is with people not respecting that game, but that's just me. But the board wasn't that bad. Shut up.
What about Dice Masters? Have you guys tried that game yet?
Dice Masters? Yeah. Jeez, that's like so like last year. Jeez.
D&D one just came out, man.
I played D&D last week, and I picked up the DC that just came out.
I just wanted to show.
We played it yet?
Oh, I've played it like 4 times now. This is amazing. My video will be uploading after I'm done with this. I'm using up all my bandwidth to do this right now. So, I played it again yesterday with a couple of my buddies. The Kickstarter goes live tomorrow. Seriously, if you are a fan of Defenders of the Realm, and if you like post-apocalyptic theme, that it takes the stuff that's in Defenders of the Realm and it refines it. And I mean, if you've played Defenders of the Realm, you've played this game, but this game adds like a ton more stuff to it. Like there's adventures. Like you can get your character onto a spot and they go on an adventure, kind of like in Eldritch Horror, where there's like the quest spot where if you go to and then like you undergo a test, basically. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same thing. You'll end up there and like there's like you pick up a card and it tells you a little story, like it's like you're surrounded by mutant scorpions or whatever, and then it has you make a test and see if you succeed, and if you succeed, then you manage to squish them, and then you find a dead body of a guy that was killed by them, and then you get like a minor artifact or something like that, and so to help you on your quest. So there's those spots, and then the adventure token moves to another spot on the board, and you go and you can do that, because you're all like kind of like the old Wastelands game. You're all rangers for this town called The Last Stand. You have ranger missions that you can take, and then like if you succeed in doing what the ranger mission tells you to do, you get bonus stuff for that. And so like so it isn't just going into a spot and killing the monsters that are there, or tracking down the leader and trying to defeat the leaders to win. Keith, what are you eating?
I'm not eating.
Oh. So it's stuff like that where it adds like, and so like there's all these different decks of all these different things that are going on. The four leaders of the weird crazy bands of like mutants or bikers or techies or Earth Mothers are all really distinct and have their own separate way of like attacking the town and doing things. I don't know. It's just, and the thing is that you can't just go at them either. You have to. There's all these different. You can either like try to sabotage them to weaken them and get their health down, or you can, you can directly attack them too. But then if you do that too early, there's gonna be no shot for you to defeat them. And it's one of those co-op games where no matter what you do on your turn, like you feel like you're doing something right, like you go to these spots where there's salvage and you can like find stuff there, or you go and like you can kind of collect these karma tokens to be used for other things. You can trade equipment and whatever. And one of the really cool things is that you actually get mutated if you end up on a spot that has like nuclear waste and you're there at the end of your turn. You have to either like discard a card that has like a hazmat suit on it, like so you don't get infected, or you have to roll on. There's like one of your stats is your ability to resist the radiation, and if you don't resist the radiation, you have to draw a mutation card, and then not only can you get killed by taking wounds, but you can also like if you get like 5 points of mutations, depending on what you get, which can help you actually. Like you can get like giant strength, and so you're tougher and you have more actions and stuff. But like if you get too many mutations, you become one of the evil leaders is this mutant called Puke that moves randomly around the board, and he drops monstrosities behind him. And if ever all of his monstrosities get left on the board, so you have to go and hunt those things down and kill them, then if he gets done, if he drops his last monstrosity on the board, then he automatically like moves into last stand and you lose the game. Well, if you get 5 mutations or 5 points of mutations, you become a monstrosity and you basically die and you have to pick another character. And so we've actually had a game lost because of that. Somebody got mutated because they pulled an adventure card that actually would have that mutated them, and then the last monstrosity went on the board, and then we lost the game that way. So I don't know. The game's amazing. It's
Is
just
it a mini game or is it cubes?
It's minis. I've seen the Kickstarter page, so because I'm that cool.
Full of add-ons.
What?
Is it going to be full of add-ons?
You know what? I don't think so. Let me go check. I mean, it's one of those things where I think it's like 75 plus shipping, if I remember correctly. Talk amongst yourselves. Hold on.
You're getting Joel worked up.
What?
What do you guys think about these like game systems now? Like, I mean, there's probably like 10 of them now that just the amount of add-ons and system parts you need to make the game run. What do you guys feel about those?
I hate add-ons. Just sell me different pledge levels with everything in it.
You don't like add-ons? You
Yeah,
just
I
want a
don't care
pledge
for it.
level.
Yeah, give
But
me a
like,
pledge level.
do you have the time to dedicate to the amount of work it takes to get one of these big system games going? Like, it's just they're just endless.
It can be tough.
Yeah.
I usually can't get the player count.
How long does a game like that normally run? Like time-wise?
I mean, it can take. Sometimes it depends on the game, but of course, like it's more the investment of time of trying to figure out how it all works together, right? You need to put in hours of just like studying how to play it first of all, right? And then you've got a million add-ons, and then you try to figure out how to put them all together into the game. It's just something I've been noticing on Kickstarter. There's just so many of them. Like, like Myth, that was probably the big one that came out.
Zombicide.
The Zombicide stuff.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
Zombicide's
Zombicide
a
is
good
actually
example.
not bad because Zombicide's just a giant dice chucker. I mean, and it doesn't pretend it's anything else.
That's probably one of the more simpler ones for sure. Yeah.
I just repackaged all my season 2 and season 3 for Zombicide, and I've still not played season 2 at all. I took it out of its shrink. So what is it? Took season 2 out of its shrink the other day after I'd already received season 3 rewards. So it's now 3 years old, something like that. 2 years old, 3 years old.
It's a few years old for sure.
So
Galaxy Defenders just had a big expansion. Super Dungeon Explorer just had a big release. They just keep coming. that monster death, which I think will. I don't know. I mean, that one's kind of been it's a bit overdue.
Well,
Monster
isn't that one of them that
Kingdom
people
Death
say it's
Monster.
done? It's. I mean, I've heard some
Is it
stuff
Dutch?
about Monster Death. Like it might be last gasping here. Let's
What?
see here. Well,
You gotta be kidding me.
I've heard some rumors that like they've bit off more than they can
Oh,
chew, kind of
no.
thing. So, but
That's like $2 million.
yeah, I mean, I think it'll happen, but it's delay after delay after delay. All right, let's see
Yeah.
here. This is not canon, so please don't assume that this is correct. But it looks like it's 65 plus shipping for the base set right now, according to the test Kickstarter page. That includes over 100 miniatures, the 4 clan leader sculpts, 4 unique sets of minions, and 5 heroes plus 3 Kickstarter bonus heroes. And then there's a second level that's higher. That's like you get an additional dice pack. These dice replace the dice, and so it looks like it's just like for an extra copy you get like some custom dice. But it's just there's only 2 levels. So let's see here. You get the 4 leaders, which are Bramble, which is this woman riding a giant like buffalo, basically. She's like the Earth Mother. Bama, which is the leader of the Road Riders, which are like basically straight out of Mad Max.
Yes.
Crank is this like weird leader of the Techies, where he collects ancient technology and uses it to fight you. And Puke, which is this giant flying mutated creature that creates the monstrosities. So there's that, and then there's 30 bikers for Bama. There's 30 little warriors, like these women warriors for Bramble, and then 30 techies for Crank. Then you get 8 monstrosity minis, and then you get a bunch of minis for your heroes and all kinds of stuff like that. And I've talked to Jason Maxwell and Richard Lanius, name dropping, a couple times, and so there's a bunch of stuff that for stretch goals as far as like extra heroes and more stuff, more minis, more junk, as long as they keep getting higher and higher, which I think they'll do really well. I mean, honestly, I can't imagine this game not going well. So,
especially at that price point for 65.
that price point sounds good.
Yeah, so I can't see it. I can't see it going bad or anything like that. And of course, you can get there's options to get the other 8th Summit games like Agents of Smersh if you don't own it, which is an amazing game.
Smersh is cool.
Yeah, Smersh. I love Smersh.
Still waiting for it.
Aw.
I got the 2nd edition. I'm still waiting for that one.
It's shipping soon.
Soon, I think.
He just said it's gone through customs.
Yeah. So So I mean, I just even if like like I hadn't played this game, I'd still be like just I gotta get it. So. But
it sounds cool. I mean, I like the system it's on, so
yeah.
Should be,
Plus, I'm just gonna once again show this is the technically only copy of it in existence in the world, and I have it in my hands right now. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So there you go.
Did they send you minis too, or did they just give you like cubes?
No, they did not. I don't have the minis. They wouldn't. He offered to send me the minis. I was like, but they're like the original resin sculpts, and I was just like, you just hold on to those. I'd hate for those to get broken or
the cat.
Yeah, something to happen to them. I'd feel like a horrible human being if that was the case. So I just have the little standees or whatever. Which whatever.
How long is your video?
Play a whole game.
It's a couple hours. I mean, but like I said, you don't ever feel like you're there's no idle time because people's turns don't take very long. I mean, you have a certain number of action points on each turn, and you so like you start with 6, and when you take wounds, you lose action points. So unless you take an action to heal, you can't get them back. And so like you use up your actions. You have to use an action to move. You have to use an action to fight. You have to use an action, for pretty much anything that you want to do. And then you have cards that can augment the actions as well. And then and so you plot out what you're going to do. As far as where you're going to move, where you're going to end up. And the thing is, that's really cool about the game is like there's never really a safe spot after the game gets rolling, and you're putting the cubes down, and the gangs are kind of moving out and controlling areas. There's never a really good safe spot to sit, because either there's nuclear waste, so you don't want to stay there, or there's a bunch of gangers which will hurt you unless you kill them. And so it's like you find yourself using there's cards. Some of the cards you can use will like enhance your movement. Like you can use a card to use as a vehicle, so you can move 2 spaces instead of 1. There's cards you can use as gliders that allow you to actually cross over. Like normally, like there's only certain areas you can walk and stuff like that, but with gliders you can go through solid lines and things like that. And so you end up using your cards for mobility a lot. And so do you do it. And the thing is also, it isn't just like you have to kill the 4 guys. Like you do there's scenarios that you can do. Like the scenario that I got, they're the ones that I only got one scenario, but it's a really fun scenario. You go out and like basically humanity realizes it's sort of like the end of Thunderdome. You realize that you've got to build a plane. And because you're going to try to escape. You're going to escape this desolate wasteland that you live in. And so you have to go out and find the 4 pieces to this plane and get them back. And you go out and you have to scavenge it up. And then like if you can get those 4 pieces and you can successfully take off with the plane, then you'll survive and win. You don't have to kill the 4 leaders. So I mean, it isn't that straightforward, if you will. So there you go.
Yeah, objectives, and you have to complete certain things and go over here and do this. It's not just a straight up slobber knocker.
There you go. And there's going to be I think they said there's going to be 4 scenarios at the base game, and maybe more if they add more.
Stretch goals.
What's it called again? I'm sorry. Could you
So
show
it looks like Kingdom Death is on its way.
Oh, it is? Okay. Well, I'm wrong.
Yeah.
So there.
Yeah, it looks fine. It looks fine.
But that is the right one. It's something else. Gosh, I can't remember the name of the game. Pyramid. That was the game I was thinking about.
Oh, Pyramid.
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 Yeah. That one's dead in the water. Yet another.
And it's talking of Kickstarter minigames. You haven't mentioned Cthulhu Wars in a long time.
Well, it's because I play it. What do you want me to say? The game's awesome.
Living up to expectation.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to get the other stuff. I mean, because they've only shipped the base game. I mean, all the extra stuff, like the next set that I think is going. I forget the name of it's the Windwalker. I can't think of the name of the great old one now. Yog-Sothoth? No, I can't remember the name. But who is opening doors? And can I get you some WD-40? Jeez. No, I can't remember the name of the game. It's name of the thing. But I mean, there's basically there's a whole other faction that they haven't produced.
Yeah.
Made.
Isn't there 8 factions that have?
Well, yeah, and it's just and I'm getting everything. So it's just it's slowly but surely they're producing the stuff and making it and sending it out. So I mean, so there you go. No, Pyramid. If you ever want to read something that talk about Kickstarters of people that don't know games like Pyramid make me not want to back games like the game that's #1 on the hotness right now on that's Skull Tales. Brand new company, a game with a bunch of minis. It's just you get worried about the possibility that they don't know what they're doing. Not that I'm sure more often than not, it's going to work just fine, and they're gonna, and it'll be okay. But I'm always hesitant, because like if you look at Pyramid, which was a game that had a bunch of backers, people went crazy for it, and people were super excited, and they promised too much, and they totally as far as the minis go and everything like that, they weren't able to, the price point they put everything at, it turned out they were going to be like losing money with every game they produced, and it's another one of those horror stories of people that gave them a bunch of money and it doesn't look like they're going to get anything for what they gave them. So,
but it's still vastly popular in Spain. Best game ever in Spain. The Skull. What's this?
Skull Tales?
Skull Tales or whatever.
Well, if it's vastly popular, why don't I see any? I don't know. It's just like
you've got 40-something ratings of 10 or more on BGG.
Oh, has it been in shill? Yep, looks like a lot of shill voting here.
Just a tad.
Pre-order.
Great game. Funniest, the one that I great game. Funniest, the one I never played.
All within the last month.
Yeah, this is an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, so Aldi, I was asking on Twitter about it, and WE came back with some comments.
I saw that actually. Was this the game I guess you guys were talking about?
Yeah, that was the game I was talking about.
We're working on a way to kind of filter ratings by Geek Buddies. So if you're browsing the site, you can get like a more trusted list, and we're going to integrate that more into the interface. That's kind of the plan, anyway.
Okay.
I don't know what to do about this. I mean, maybe some of these are real, but some are probably fake. They look fake to me.
I mean, if you look how many are new users there, and then how many are all in Spain.
No, it's definitely. I mean, you've got 4 days ago, and this says first name, last name. I mean, this is their name.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's a rush to judgment on your part. So.
Well, take it with a grain of salt for sure.
I don't know. I just can't stand to look at the top of Aldi's screen and see his email numbers.
I don't do my Geek Mail through my email. I do it through Gmail. Like I read all my Geek Mail. That's not. I do read it all.
Is that thousands or millions? I can't tell.
Hey, what'd you get Octavian for his birthday?
What did I get him for his birthday?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's today. I did not get him anything, unfortunately.
Oh, you're a great boss.
Does your boss buy you birthday presents?
Well, I get like a pizza party or something.
Well, if he lived in town, I'd take him out, but he lives in New Hampshire or whatever, or Connecticut. He lives in Connecticut.
You couldn't like carve him off 5 shares of stock or something and send it to him?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was showing me this thing called Meeple. Someone is like basically stealing the Board Game Geek API and repackaging it. Meeple API. Ever heard of that? This just came out. Like I don't know what to, like. It doesn't say Board Game Geek on here at all, except it's basically the Board Game Geek API. So what do I do about this kind of stuff, guys?
What is it? What's the web
address?
Desist. It's an API.
Well, no. What's an API? Forgive my stupidity.
It's like a programmatic way to access the database through Board Game Geek. We have an API. I guess a cease and desist. I don't know. I just hate doing that kind of stuff. I could probably just ask them to stop.
Can you block them so they can't
probably just
access it?
They'll probably just tell you to sit and spin. Then what are they gonna do?
That's the thing with cease and desist. It's like there's nothing behind it, right? Unless you have a lawyer sitting there waiting to file a lawsuit.
Unless you pursue it, yeah.
Ignore it enough.
Well, don't you have like an army of lawyers just swimming in a circle waiting for a drop of blood to drop on the ground?
Do I give that impression that I do that kind of stuff?
No, I'm just having fun with you, man.
Yeah, I know.
In fairness,
Yeah. So here's
He
the
says he's
API.
made it with a heart.
That's the stats. Yeah.
He says he made it with love.
I get that. I mean, I don't know. But look, it links to our image system. I mean, it's like
Well, it actually
our
says here all data has been collected from BoardGameGeek.com, and it is under the XML API terms of use.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like I don't know what was the point of it. I guess maybe I need to write to him and ask him.
Is there a way you can block him from going onto the site?
Oh, sure. I mean, I just don't understand what the point is.
He made it out of love. He loves you. I gotta put my
No, it's
daughter to
great.
bed. Hold on, I'll be right
It's
back.
very, like, it's sharp. Definitely some skill here. Anyway.
Actually, Tiffany, the one-tar, she did a little program using the the database, and that was really cool. It was really handy.
Yeah, it would check your ratings, and I forget exactly what it did, but it was pretty cool.
You could put in your
we don't stop
anybody
you
how many games in your collection you hadn't played, and how many people and how many hours it would take to play them. And it was just super fun to walk to. It was quite scary, but it was also.
What are you up to, Robin? Like 3 years or 4 years?
I think I had to retire now.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a cool use of it.
Anybody tried the BG Stats app? On
Yes.
iOS?
Oh, the BGG Stats app is awesome. Yeah.
That thing's sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Very cool.
So, Paul, have you played anything new?
Haven't really had much time to play anything new. I picked up a couple things. Nothing really new. I guess they're old games. Like I picked up At the Gates of Lying and the reprinted Kahuna, and I picked up Arboretum because I heard that was a pretty good card game.
Yeah, I want to play Arboretum. It looks decent.
I just recently picked up Legendary. I know I'm probably way behind on that one, but
the Encounters one or
which one?
The Marvel?
not the Encounters one.
The Marvel.
Yeah.
The basic one, the base one.
The base one, yeah, exactly, the base box.
Do yourself
like the
a favor, pick up
system.
Encounters.
Yeah, I've heard that's where I need to go. I guess that's a lot more interactive or fun or whatever. But yeah, they were playing it at where I buy all my Dice Master stuff. They were playing all these board games and stuff, and I'm like, I saw Marvel, and I'm like, what is this? And they're like, oh, this is Legendary, so I picked it up. So yeah, I know I'm way behind on that. And the guy was like, yeah, you should check out Encounters and this, that, and the other thing. He was telling me how it's a little bit more streamlined, I guess. It's a little bit more. There's more to it, the Encounters one, than there is the base box set.
Yeah.
Encounters is Aliens, though. It's not really Marvel.
No, there's a Marvel one. Where you have Doctor Doom or Venom or whatever.
Just Legendary.
Yeah, just Legendary. Where and then you move along the different areas, completing objectives and beating superheroes and trying to beat the ultimate guy over here. So pretty interesting. Pretty fun.
I managed not to buy new stuff, so I'm proud of myself for that. I didn't. I didn't buy new Armada.
How many Kickstarters?
Shut up.
Yeah, Keith, you've got such a problem.
Nice job on the updated Gen Con map.
Oh, did you like that?
Yeah.
I think I got more retweets and favorites off of my updated Gen Con map than any tweet ever.
Were those all legitimately Asmodee?
Oh, hell no. It was just me going nuts. It started off that way. I was starting off doing it as a serious.
I was wondering how accurate it was.
But Asmodee even liked it, so because I actually got
that's funny.
from them. So they weren't offended. They laughed. So, but I started off just doing Fantasy Flight, and I was going to do Days of Wonder, and I'm like, oh no, all these booths are big enough to be Asmodee, so I just started blink. So, yeah, it was a good time. It made me laugh, and I guess it made others laugh, so it accomplished its goal. That's what you do in meetings at work when you get bored.
Photoshop project.
Is the rumor that Gen Con is moving legitimate? Does anybody know?
No.
They're locked into a contract until 2020. So yeah, they can't
It would
go
probably
anywhere
cost
for
them
a
big
long,
money
long
to
time.
leave now. Yeah.
And I don't know if they'll feel the need to
You don't break those kind of contracts if you want to stay in business.
No, they
Ride
already
it
broke
out.
one contract and it hurt them, so I don't see them doing it again.
And at the end of the day, people
The
will come
clauses
whenever.
in those contracts typically are just really drastic price wise.
Yeah, and it's got to be pretty beefy since Indianapolis built them a new wing of the convention
Exactly.
center.
They committed to building multiple hotels as well, right? Not, I guess that's city.
The hotels were Super
convention-
Bowl.
Yeah, the
The hotels
convention
big one
center.
was Super Bowl. But
Yeah.
that big exhibit hall that we're in
Still
now,
not enough.
was built basically for Gen Con. They didn't need it before Gen Con grew.
You think they might have moved it if they didn't have the contract?
They would have definitely opened it up for proposal.
They would have thought about it. Now, they may have backed off now that the law was changed to clarify it, if you will, as they put it, but it was damage control. So I don't think they have that urge that they need to leave now.
Fair enough.
But I mean, is the growth of Gen Con going to be an issue with them at some point? And I would assume, because I mean,
It's already
rooms.
full. Yeah, it's already fuller than the city can handle.
Yeah, it's already packed, but the things that make it a desirable destination, if you move it, it'll lose a lot of that. Indianapolis has more connected hotels than any other city to the convention center, so it's got that going for it. It's been rated as the #1 convention city. It's not the biggest, though. It's like number 12 or something like that. So there are bigger spaces to have it, but you will be commuting to the convention center, period, at a lot of those other venues. So.
Yeah, the Gen Con's almost doubled in size in the past 5 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Went
Because
from
that's about the
30,000 to
time I've gone.
50,000. Yeah.
Because I think I started 6 years ago going to Gen Con just a little bit. So.
But would they be able to do anything with more hotels if they built more hotels, like for the rest of the year?
There's plenty of hotels in Indianapolis out of block. They're just not downtown, and you're not going to get more downtown hotels because there's nowhere to put them.
There's no more. Okay.
There's no more room down there. I mean, they might be able to talk some of the more pricey things into going, but they've got to also keep rooms available to run, business in downtown Indianapolis. So every hotel room can't be dedicated to Gen Con. You can get a room in downtown Indy if you want, but you're going to pay $500 a night right now. That's kind of your choice.
By the way, guys, my hotel waiting list is coming through. I'm starting to get my rooms moved.
Good for you.
It's
I'm kind of
just
jealous.
in months, right?
Anyone going to Gen Con, event registration starts Sunday, as a reminder. So if you want to book your events, if they are desirable events, do it the moment it goes live or you will not get it.
So I've never attended a Gen Con event. What is a Gen Con event?
Gen Con
I'm an
events.
exhibitor, right? So I don't go to any events.
All right, so the events, there's thousands and thousands of Gen Con events. They range from role-playing sessions to seminars to board game sessions to live podcasts, fantasy flights, in-flight report, even the sessions in the board game library, all considered events at Gen Con. And that's kind of your big difference between, you think, a Gen Con and an Essen. An Essen doesn't have all the events, from what I understand. I've not been.
It has no event.
Correct.
It's, Gen Con, every room in the ICC's got events running. The giant halls have events running. And basically half of each table you see in the big giant halls is an event, if you will. It's a booked gaming session, or there could be some rooms set aside. You've got the giant WotC rooms for D&D. You've got the giant Paizo rooms for Pathfinder. Then every conference room in every connected hotel is also running events.
You booked the True Dungeon through the event? Is that how you
Yes, True Dungeon is booked through the events as well, or at least it used to be. So as far as I know, it still is. You can book Artemis through it. You can book the BattleTech pods through it, I think.
So have you decided which ones you're doing, Keith, this year?
I'm going to try to do In-Flight Report again just because it's kind of fun seeing it live, but it's not a necessity. Ignacie's doing a presentation. I'm doing that. I've got a couple of Stonemeyer prototype demos scheduled on my list for Scythe, and there was another game, and I forgot the name of it. Those are all I have on my wish list right now. I learned very much the hard way 3-4 years ago. Do not overbook yourself for events because you'll think you have plenty of time.
What's the penalty if you don't show up?
You lose the money you paid for it. If there's a
everything's paid for? Okay.
Not everything. Some events are free, like a lot of seminars are free, like the in-flight report's free. A lot of other events are. Basically, the going rate's basically $2 an hour, I think, or something like that, or something that affects.
So now, if you book an event, like play a certain game, and you don't show up, and it wrecks the game for the other people, what happens then?
Those people are just pissed.
But they don't know who you are, right?
Yeah, they don't know who you are. A lot of times, what
they're just like, oh, our third guy didn't show up.
Right. So if it's a desirable event that's popular, what'll happen is you'll have people show up on the off chance that people don't show, and they'll bring generic tickets, which are $2 a piece, and they can pay generics to sit in that event. You'll see that a lot with very popular role-playing game sessions and things like that. So you often will see people show up with a fistful of generics trying to jump in a game.
Gotcha.
People miss all the time.
How does open gaming work? You can just go there and bring a game and just play. And you don't even need you didn't even need a Gen Con ticket for that, right? Badge.
I'm trying to think of where they actually have good open gaming. There's places you can pop a squat and sit and play. Some of the best gaming tables are in the second floor of the Hilton, where you wouldn't need a badge. But the library itself, you need a badge, and you have to buy that library session, which is $6 or $8, depending on whether it's morning or evening. And unfortunately, their game library, the library and the gaming space is in the same room, and it is not nearly big enough. Friday night, you may own a ticket to get in, and there may not be a chair in the place. So that's where BGG Con absolutely destroys Gen Con when it comes to open gaming.
We just focus on that one thing, right? They do like a million things.
Yeah, they do a million things, but they could do more to be closer to what you guys put on. I think Origins is the nice balance in between it. Origins has a good library and plenty of space to play. Origins is really easy to just find a table and flop down and play a game. It is not congested like Gen Con. Gen Con, it can be tooth and nail to find a place to lay a game out.
Scott, do you have seminars at BBG?
There's a couple special events, but it's definitely not the primary focus. I think Tom does a live podcast. I think, and we did a seminar with Eric Lang and Rob Davio last year, where they just answered questions.
Okay.
I'm sure there's some other stuff that happened, but I don't remember exactly. I mean, it's not the primary focus, right? There are things like that, though.
Right.
Do you guys ever make it to Strategicon?
Yes, I've been to Strategicon.
How do you like that?
Next weekend, right?
It's coming up. I'm not entirely sure when.
Is that the one in California?
Yeah, in California. That's where we are.
Yeah, they do 3 a year.
Let's see, where'd it go? I did tweet out some of my favorite titles of Gen Con events earlier. Quick rundown of some of those that kind of crack me up are Game of Thrones winner is coming, House Stark logo buttercream transfer.
What?
We've got Star Wars rejuvenating yoga. We've got K-pop Zumba. We've got burlesque for bedroom and beyond. We've got Kirk Fu Starfleet hand-to-hand combat. We've got
Awesome.
rope bondage advanced class plus 30 foot of bondage rope.
Wow.
Real Gen Con events, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about it's just so massive. You can't take it in.
Is this the right?
I like how all the places the place we went to last year, the menu was all transformed as well.
Did you go to Scotty's or the Ram?
The RAM.
Yep. Both of
I
those
think
do. a Gen Con
Privateer
menu.
Press took over their menu. They changed all the name of the food.
Okay.
Drinks.
Scotty's does Paizo usually.
Okay.
Well, do they sponsor the menu or something?
Yeah, they sponsor the menu and they'll rename. They'll have special food
They
just for
renamed
the
everything.
convention. They'll rename menu items as well.
That's so cool.
All right, now Gen Con has 11,978 events scheduled.
Wow.
And
That is
there
ridiculous.
will be more before the convention. That's just what's in the spreadsheet right now.
Wow. That's bigger than an Excel spreadsheet can handle too, right?
It can go further.
Or can you do 100,000 rows in Excel? I can't remember.
I was thinking it's like 30,000 or something like that, but I can't remember.
Yeah, 30. It's probably 32,565.
Yeah.
That's how they do the events. Is a data sheet.
Well, there's two ways. They have a searchable database, which their search engine kind of blows, for lack of a better term. Then they have a spreadsheet that you can download, and I prefer to use the spreadsheet for my own searching because you can use spreadsheet filters and sorting. You can hide some of the columns, but then I can search by. I can just go, okay, I want to look at board games and non-collectible card games at the same time. Oh, I want to filter out these companies who I know. I know I don't want to play Trailer Park Wars, so I'll filter out that company or whatever. And so then I can narrow it down to the things I'm interested in and just have like 3,000 lines to look through. Much
Is this on their
easier
website,
for me
or-
to sort it.
or did
Yeah,
you
you
download
can get it from their website. You go to Gen Con. Once you get to Gen Con, you will want to go to, let me look it up so I don't tell you wrong. You go to Connect up on the top, and when the drop down from Connect, you hit Community. It's buried in here. It takes a veteran to find it. Once you get to the community page, there is a tab that says Downloads. On Downloads, there are Files, Event Catalog. It says date added 2013, but it is the new one. So, it takes a pro, okay?
Okay, I see. Oh yeah. Wow. Do you do events, Lance, or do you just do open?
No,
you just kinda,
I just wander.
He just wanders
wander.
around with his Santa Claus sack.
Oh, shit.
Hi, I'm Undead Viking. Put it in there.
he doesn't get as much love as he. You should
Does that
get more
work?
love, but I don't. Yeah,
It does for Lance.
I don't think it sometimes works, sometimes not.
I just tease him because I saw him because we stayed in the same hotel last year, so we ran into each other quite a bit. And he came in after the Thursday morning, and he was just laden down like Saint Nick. And so you got the beard, you got the giant bulging bag, and it was Santa Claus
Ha ha ha.
giving me a middle finger.
Everybody's funny. Everybody's funny.
Do you ever do role playing at Gen Con, Lance?
No, it's. I mean, role playing at conventions doesn't work well. Role playing is much better when you got your friends and your buddies. When you role play with a bunch of strangers, it's weird.
Harder to be relaxed or whatever.
Well, and then you just kind of I just had bad experiences. I mean, people that either really understand the genre or the game, and then you don't, and so they get really fed up with you if you don't know the rules, or if like it's just like you run into people that are power gamers, or you run into people that are role players, or you run into people that, and it's just like, and so you have this, you don't have a good mesh,
Too many
so
things
it
can
just
go wrong.
yeah, and so it's one of those things where it just it doesn't work
I've done
as
a
well
little
as
bit.
it should.
I've done a little bit and had mixed experiences. I've had some really good ones, like playing Toon with a GM that was just really on point, or playing the old TSR Marvel RPG. I had a really good experience playing that. There's a group called the Dead Games Society, and they play old, out-of-print role-playing game sessions, and so that's pretty cool. And they're not hardcore crazy people, and so they're just having a good time. So those have been good. And then I did an intro to D&D 4th Edition and went, oh my god, this is horrible. Then I did intro to Pathfinder a couple of years ago, which was pretty good. We had a pretty good GM for that. The thing I'll say that's kind of a mean thing is I learned the hard way when I walked into the Paizo room. I thought that the overall hygiene at Gen Con had gotten better as it's grown, until you walk into one of the giant RPG rooms. And you get a wave of gamer funk when you first hit that room that will straighten your hair, unfortunately. That seems to be the worst area. It's a very crowded room. It's got a lot of people that have been sitting in there probably for 18 hours, and it gets a lot worse than the vendor hall.
Wow. That is not good advertising.
I said it was going to be bad, but it's the truth.
You just I don't know what it is.
Oh man.
One of the worst things about, and I'm not, I hate stereotypes, and I hate like things, but one of the worst things about conventions is the fact that it is the vast majority of people will go to conventions and they're just completely 100% normal. And I shouldn't say normal. That's a very non-inclusive term. But the vast majority of people will go and they won't exhibit any sort of trait that is like antisocial or just kind of damaging to the hobby. Like from an outside's perspective looking into us, they don't exhibit anything that makes people go, geez, what's that person's deal, kind of thing. But there's this weird contingent of people that, like, when you have a gaming convention, that they just they look at it as their chance to let their geek flag fly, so to speak, and they just there's this weird mentality where it's like, oh, well, I'm going to stay up for the next 3 straight days, so I don't need to take 20 minutes and shower, and I don't, I can just be a complete wackadoo, and just like, and it's just, I don't know, and being able to relax and enjoy themselves, and as long as you're not hurting anybody, but some very basic hygiene and wherewithal of recognizing where you're at and what you're doing, I think it should be, if not expected, like mandatory in some way. So
yeah, unfortunately, there is a subset of the hobby that we have where there's people that just don't have that social skill in them. I mean, day one of the con, when you've got gamer funk, it's not because you're not showering during the con, it's because you just don't realize you need to shower. Something in your brain doesn't click for that. I've seen people that suffer from that, unfortunately, and it's kind of a thing. It's almost like an autism type of thing. They just don't realize it, is what it is. But it's not a majority of the people. It's a rarity.
No, and unfortunately, it's the sore thumbs that stick up, and they just it's nobody notices the mass of normalcy. It's the random oddball that does it. I mean, I have had at my job, like when at the place I work at, not the job I currently the role I had, but the role I had prior to the one I have now. I was basically a floor manager, and for a call center, and I would actually have to have meetings with people and tell them your BO is horrible, and it's a very weird conversation to have with an adult. To like explain to them, and it's like and we actually have like an HR list of how you approach somebody to talk to them, because you don't know if it's like a medical condition or anything like that, and so you have to have this weird conversation with these people, and it's just like, you can't come to work like this. It's just like you are making the people that sit around you physically ill with the way that you smell. And it's just like, and if there's a medical condition, we need to know about it, and so we can do things. And it's just like, and that's kind of like this weird conversation when you sit down at a table and then you realize that, like, it's like it's like, I hate to say this, but it's one of my favorite lines ever. There was a guy I knew in college, and his name was Todd, but everybody called him Troll. And one day our RA asked him, freshman year, asked him flat out, he said, "Hey, Troll, what'd you do with the pork chop?" And he said, "What pork chop?" "The one you used to comb your hair." And you looked over, and his hair was all greasy and matted, and all, it was just like, and you see, and it's just like, that was like, kind of like, I run into those people, and it's just kind of like, it's like, when was the last time water hit your body? And you're just kind of like, ugh, I don't know. But you said it yourself, it's just like, they just don't realize it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people just don't want the confrontation, they just deal with it, right?
Right.
Well, that's just it. We live in such a weird world where it's just like, you don't want to, like, because it's embarrassing. Because like, even if the person next to you is really bothering you and like causing a detriment to what you're experiencing, we're bred, and thankfully we're bred in a world of politeness, and we take other people's feelings into account. And you don't want to, say it out loud. So. But at a certain point, you have to, and it's just like, and that even like lends even more credence to it, because it's just like, they're actually like, if somebody's actually like coming to me and saying, to me, like, yeah, the guy down my row, he smells so bad that like I can't, take my calls near him. It's just like, okay, well then, if you're actually like approaching me to talk to me about this, then it must be really bad, that kind of thing. So. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird world. I mean, it's just like, but once again, it's that 1 in 1,000. Paul, you stink, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, you and Barry. You and Barry, you guys just talk too much. You just a couple chatterboxes.
Well, I've actually never been to a board game convention. Since I jumped on, you guys were talking about Gen Con. And, like, I was ready earlier when you were talking comics. I was going to say, throw me in, coach. I'm ready. Let's go.
That's what I was checked out, but I can talk about Gen Con all day.
Yeah.
Well, that's your home away from home there, buddy. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's down the road. It started me in this hobby, so I have a special relationship with Gen Con, I guess.
Did they build that sculpture or statue of Gary Gygax? Is that there?
No, I think
that's
in Lake Geneva.
That's in Lake Geneva, and I don't think it's been made yet. They're still looking for funding, if I remember correctly. I don't know. I suppose I'd know if I actually Googled it or something. But I mean, it's.
Well, I contributed to the build a Gary Gygax statue. Just wondering if it got made.
When he passed away at Gen Con that year, they had a giant bin shaped like a D20, and they asked people to throw dice into it.
I threw a die in it. That was one of my first Gen Cons. It was either my second Gen Con or my first, and I can't remember, but I remember that specifically.
Yeah. So and then like they asked people to do that, and it's let's see here. Let's see here. Here, I'll read this. This is from the Gygax Memorial Fund. Let's see here. This is December 4th, 2014. Late Gary Gygax is now a stuff of legends to D&D fans in the gaming industry. His wife, Gail Gygax, plans to have a memorial of him crafted from granite, steel, and bronze. That memorial, when finished, will stand in Lake Geneva's Donnian Park. Gale, however, is all but flesh and blood, and the subject to all the weaknesses that attend flesh and blood. Gilgax looks thinner and walks slower than the last time she brought her plans for Gilgax Memorial before the City Park Commission. A childhood illness the way to treat it is now affecting her kidneys and liver. Gygax said in a November interview earlier this year she required surgery, blah, blah. So, looks like now she hopes to have all the contracts for her husband Royal signed this month that would clear the way for the work to get started by spring of 2015. The final approval still rests with the Lake Geneva Plan Commission and the City Council. The idea of it is to be 7 feet tall, 4 feet wide, complete with the castle, a giant dragon, and a life-size bust of him on the top of the castle tower. So
Awesome.
it looks like it is in the process. So
Still almost there.
almost there.
Almost there.
So let's see what the financial information is. Yeah, so it looks like they're funded and it's good to go. It's just one of those things where they're trying to.
You got to get all the bureaucracy out of the way.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So interesting if true, but yeah, it'll be cool. I mean, that's one of my things where it was like, I guess like when he was at conventions and what have you, he was very gregarious and would stop and talk to anybody who would, and give them their 5 minutes to talk to him. He was very, very open, and I'm sad I never got to meet him. It sounds like even he would basically give you your time for you to gush over him and tell him. He said the thing he never got tired of hearing was he never got tired of hearing people walking up to him and telling him thank you for like forming their childhood or whatever, and just so it's like so I mean he sounds like he was a pretty cool guy. I mean just like anybody else, he had his demons and whatever, but it sounds like he could have been a better businessman at a couple junctures of his life, but that's a really interesting read. If you ever want to like take the time, read the background on TSR and how. I'll find the link.
You know what book does that very well in a very nice and neat, chronological, concise order is Of Dice and Men.
Yeah, the thing that I was is like it's like a magazine article that kind of condensed it a little bit, and just how he basically created this world or created this company, and then it just basically got slowly but surely just it eroded away from him, and he no longer owned it, if you will. So
yeah, it would have been interesting to see what direction it would have gone had things turned out differently. But again, it's a great product in and of itself. It's spawned so much stuff. It's spawned limitless, hours and books, and I'll even say board games. I don't know that anything is not influenced by this. Some aspect of your daily life is formed from this. So it's just like, what an amazing thing to be a part of, or even be responsible. One of those people that is designated as responsible for.
Yeah, totally. It is.
Read that Designers and Dragons, the Shannon Appelcline book, those 4 books.
I've heard of them. I have not read them though.
It was on Kickstarter last year, I think. I think it's out. It's basically done now.
One of my like present day like RPG heroes is Bill Webb. He wrote an absolute amazing. He's written amazing adventures and amazing dungeons and what have you, and he's just a really good publisher. A really nice guy too. I've talked to him on the phone several times, and he said that he met Gary Gygax without having any idea who he was. He was at a convention. He went outside to have a cigarette, and he bummed a light off of some old guy out there with a beard, and then they started talking D&D. And and I was like, first of all, how did you not know it was Gary Gygax? I mean, it's like everybody knows what he looks like. It was just kind of crazy that he wouldn't know. he ended up just talking to him, like he forgot about wanting to play the game, and him and this guy like exchanged stories for like almost an hour, just in there BSing, and then finally he's like, oh, my name's Bill. He's like, oh, I'm Gary Gygax. And he was just like, what? Just like literally had no idea he was talking to like the creator of the game. Just so I found that to be a wonderful story. So
Cool.
yeah. Well, boys, it is 3.5 hours. I still have to upload my last stand.
Well under our 4.5 hour limit.
Yes, well under our normal marathon. I do appreciate everybody piping in. I was able actually to let you guys take over. I should have Mike on more often. That guy, he's just a chatterbox. Leave him and Travis alone in the channel, and none of us would talk at all at that point. So.
Me?
But you. No, you're quite
knowledge, man.
As Richard Ham once told me, and I had to go look it up and see if it was a compliment. He told me I was quite the raconteur, which then I found was a excellent spinner of stories. So I was like, oh well, thanks, Richard. So yes, Mike, you are an excellent spinner of stories. So
thank you.
It's a compliment. But does anybody? Obviously, Mike, you got your anything last thing you want to talk about Battle Bards to let people know before you go?
Just check us out. If you do tabletop, it's definitely something that we think that can you can add to your game very seamlessly, and it does add an element to it. And that's how we feel, and we hope that everybody kind of feels the same way. And that's about all I really have to say about it. I mean, we're just doing this because we want to make tabletop games more, just more than what they are. And it's kind of been one of those things where, tabletop games have kind of suffered a little bit, or they did, or they were going through a little slump there. And I think with Kickstarter, with 5th edition getting kind of reinvigorated and really becoming this powerhouse, Kickstarter coming out and having just this nice format for board games to kind of get reinvigorated and get funded by the people that just have this abundance of passion for, I think that's kind of what reinvigorated this whole entire market, and we just kind of want to keep that going. We want to keep that surge of energy in the right direction. So we want to just be basically a part of that.
Well, that's awesome, man.
Hey, Michael?
Yes.
Michael? Play, Own, or Burn, Pathfinder, D&D 5th edition, or D20?
Can somebody else go first? Wow. Again, really, really tough. I really hate you, Robin, for these questions.
You're welcome.
Because you're asking the tough ones. Yeah, God. Well, I'll say this right now. Pathfinder has kind of a nice special place in my heart because, while we don't really play it that often, we do take quite a bit of elements from it. Predominantly, we play 3.5. And we steal kind of elements from Pathfinder. So I'm gonna say I'll own Pathfinder. I'll play it one more time, the D20, and 5th I'll burn.
Wow. Okay. Cool.
I see. That's easy. I'd burn all of them because Pathfinder breaks at 10th level. D20 is old and busted. And 5th edition is like a really weak attempt at going to old school gaming, and I would rather I would play Swords and Wizardry, I would play Zero ED, I would play Torchbearer, I would play. I mean, there's so many better systems out there. Pathfinder is great if you want to plot out exactly what your character is going to develop into. Over the course of the next year, you're going to play your campaign. It is a great stat-heavy, crunchy game for power gamers. I won't take anything away from it as far as that goes. But I mean, the game literally breaks at 10th level. You have warriors that can, if you plot out a power attack warrior, you can get to the point where they'll easily do 250 points of damage in a round of combat, which is stupid. Which is absolutely stupid. 250 points of damage in a round of combat when like dragons have 200 hit points. So it's like literally what? You mean it's just So I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's you're kind of speaking, so to speak, my language here. But that's power gaming, and I think that letting a story evolve on its own and having a heavy role playing aspect and not necessarily statting out a character, but let the story that the DM or the GM or whatever you want to call them unfolds for you. Let it evolve on its own and kind of have this like living world where your guy will, maybe not necessarily be a good guy, but not a bad guy. Maybe you had a direction that you were going in, but because this NPC died, you kind of had to pick up his mantle, or you did it out of respect, or it was maybe forced on you. Maybe it was your order kind of bumped you up because there's no one left. I mean, who knows? You're paladin, you're raised up into Ned Stark's position, so to speak. And you've got to kind of have to take that role and run with it. You're not you're not just like, oh, okay, level 11, I do this. Level 10, level 12, I do this. Level 13, I do this. Have some thought or make it a part of the world. And I think that's the way it should. Well, not should, but kind of what I think or I envision or how I like to play is not have this all thought out. Maybe have a plan, an idea, play a guy, and then have the experiences form what you become or what you are, and just have fun with the story in the game. It's not about who does the most damage, who has the biggest weapon, who has the blah 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 blah. No one cares about tabletop, EP, so to speak. So it's all about getting together, having fun, doing something you like, and that.
Do you like Fate Core?
What's that?
Do you like Fate Core?
I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Fate is another attempt at a universal system for role playing. It's not bad. It's not great. It's not.
It's like Risk back in the day.
Yeah, basically, or GURPS, or any take your pick. I just think any kind of system where you basically have to like give everybody powers when they gain levels, and other than just like the fact that they're already gaining levels and getting hit points, whatever, I think is just stupid. I think when you have to give somebody an ability to do something that we used to just say, can I cross the can I put that board across the pit and cross it? Yeah, sure. Roll under your dex under D20. Oh no, now we have a balance check, and make sure you take your armor penalty and see this and check that stat. It's like you can't. The wonderment of D&D when I was a kid was the fact that when you played the game, the player was the creative one, not the character. And you get away from like having. I'm so tired of playing games where I have a person look at me and say, "Do I know anything about the religious symbol? I'm going to roll on my religious knowledge. Oh, I got a 3. What do I get? No. Tell me why your character would know this. Tell me why they researched this, or why they would have any idea." And it's just like, and there's no, when you're just a bunch of stats on a piece of paper, you have no character. You're just your stats.
Right.
You might as well just be playing a game solo. You might as well just be playing, a Morrowind or something, and having a computer do all of it for you.
Yeah, it's like when the player, the bard goes, okay, well, I'm just going to do a diplomacy and make them our friends. It's like, okay, what do you say? And they're like, they have that brain fart moment like I did on your show here a couple times, where nothing comes to mind, and they're like, oh, well, I have my diplomacy's 27, and it's like, yeah, but what do you say? Like, tell me how you're gonna do this, and then we'll let the roll be reflective, and it's just like, you get that 1,000-yard stare, like, okay, well, like, you should be our friends there, and I roll. Yeah, that's kind of not the spirit of the game, but I think you should have. There are people that just they can't do that. That's not their forte, or that's not their strong point, or whatever. But that's those are the kind of people you kind of maybe have to work with on the side or outside of the game and say, look, you got to give me a little something here. Give your character some depth. What would you say in those situations? And blah 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 blah, and kind of get adjust those people's way of thinking to kind of, fit the game or fit into your style of play or whatever to kind of help them along. That's just basically what I would do and kind of help, kind of nurture that person along a little bit to kind of get them into that role of understanding these little things.
Very fair. All right, Robin, curse you for making me talk longer. Does anybody else have anything they want to pimp? Barry, you got anything coming up lately? You got any more Google Hangout games you're not going to invite me to?
Yeah, a couple.
Hey, can you get an invite now?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Robin was being funny.
Okay. There you go. Well, we're still on for tomorrow, right, Scott?
Yep, that's correct.
All
Tomorrow
right,
night, right?
Tomorrow night, me and Scott will be doing a sit down at 9 Eastern.
And then that's what I've got now.
I must have lost my invite to that as well.
Yes, you did.
I'll go to my spam folder, see if it's in there.
Barry actually wanted to be able to talk in that one.
I am actually thinking about doing another, but wait, there's more thing with podcast people, so maybe I'll invite you to that one. Maybe not, Lance.
Oh gosh, sure. I paid for the full seat, but I'll only need the edge. Here, hold on. I'll get right there. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody taking the time to pop in. Paul, do you have any cool comic book knowledge you want to tell us? What's the best comic book being made right now, being published right now?
Probably Saga.
Okay, not Saga. Best comic that isn't Saga that's being published right now.
Descender's a brand new one that's really good. And then actually the Star Wars comics are out of control good.
Out of control good.
Yeah.
Give
those a shot if you just
Does Dark Horse still publish those?
No, they killed Dark Horse. Anything Dark Horse is not canon anymore. They just destroyed it, and it's on Marvel now, and they put some pretty big writers and artists on all the books.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, thanks to everybody for. Oh, Robin, you got anything coming up? You and Rhiannon was supposed to join us, but never did. So.
Isn't she going to Geekway?
Yeah.
I don't know. Who cares?
Anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I've got a Spinning Nipples video coming out next week. Carl's has just put his up. I've got one coming next week, and we've had a new podcast episode went up this past week, talking about board game media and the responsibilities of board game media, and we talked a bit about. We covered a little bit about Cards Against Humanity and the slaves and fakirs in Five Tribes and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I forgot. Go ahead, finish.
And so that's what I've got coming up. So.
All right, actually, I should have mentioned this a long time ago. On Monday evening, Travis Chance of Action Phase Games and I are going to do a Google Hangout. It's an idea that he came up with, just the two of us and one guest, and the guest has to fight for time to talk.
So it's Barry.
Yeah, well, you'll be on eventually, actually.
Oh, great.
And then I think, and it's gonna be a random topic that Travis picks. So I don't know what it's going to be, and it's called. He came up with a name called Proxylnomicon. I guess proxyl is some weird word for talking about absolutely nothing, but for a very, very long time or something like that. I don't know what it is, but anyway, apparently he's got Brittany locked in to be our guest, and he's going to spring his topic, and we're going to try to do this on a fairly regular basis. He's got. I don't know. He came up with the idea and asked if I was interested. And I said sure, and he sent me an email a couple of days ago. He's already lined up 9 different people for guests. So and he's got all these crazy ideas. The guy's just a bundle of energy. So we'll see how that works out. Yeah.
What'd you guys call it? Proxylnomicon?
Proxylnomicon or something. Huh? Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
I thought it was a good idea, and I suggested it, but it's Travis. He's just
sure.
All that tattoo ink has seeped into his brain, so he can't think straight for more than 3 seconds.
Well, you can save that title for another podcast.
Yeah, no,
that was title.
Yeah, it was. Nobody take that.
Well, we didn't say what it was.
Oh yeah, that's true. All right. Well, yeah. Thanks. Aldi, you got anything coming up? You got anything?
Well, me and Barry tomorrow night. Are we doing that live, Barry? Is it
Do you
live?
do you have anything important coming up?
That is not a dig. That is not a dig.
No.
BGG Con, but that's pretty much like, I mean, if people are coming are already signed up. So.
Where is that, Scott? If I might ask.
It's here in Dallas. It's at the DFW Hyatt in the Dallas airport. It's the same space as we do BGG Con in the falls, but we're calling it BGG Fam.
All right, well, good luck
show.
with that, man. Good luck with the inaugural event. Well,
Did the flooding affect that? Did the flooding down there affect that at all?
Yeah, it's flooding, but I think it'll probably be done it's like 10 days away, so
okay,
probably be gone by then.
Awesome.
And if it's still flooding by then, the whole country's in trouble.
No, I mean, I didn't know if the hotel took
probably
any damage or anything.
Hopefully it'll be nice and clear.
Yeah.
Although, do you really need clear if you're sitting in a hotel?
No, not really.
Cool. Well, thanks for having me on again, Lance.
Yeah, no, it's always a pleasure, guys, and everyone. So thank you very much for taking the time. And Keith's asleep. I can only see the top
I'm
of his
not
head.
asleep. I'm just leaning back.
Oh, okay. And but everybody, have a good night. Thanks for joining. For those of you who stayed with us and listened, thank you very much. And for those of you who watch this at a later time, thank you again. And yeah, go back, Battle Bards. Go back, the Adventure Case. Go back, Project Elite, which is present. And then remember that Defenders of the Last Stand goes live tomorrow morning. So check that out.
What's over under on the link to your video tomorrow?
I think it's right around 34 minutes, if I remember correctly.
Wow, that's speedy.
Wow.
Yeah, I didn't try to do like a full round. I just tried to show like just a really good overview of how the mechanics work, because I mean a lot of the mechanisms are directly from Defenders of the Realm. So I mean it's nothing. I didn't want to like presume that people had played Defenders of the Realm, but I mean, like, I kind of glossed over some of the more basic stuff that you know, because Defenders of the Realm, I mean, really, I mean, it has some weird pandemic thing going on with the spreading of the cubes, but you know, it has its own like little world or whatever. And, yeah, I'm.
Don't spoil it.
It's a Lanius game. You know, if you know Richard Lanius, you know what you're getting into when you play one of his games. And so.
How many times have you played it? 4?
Let's see, 5 times.
How many times did you win?
Not once.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. So, yeah, just couldn't get the dice rolls when I needed them. You know. So there you go. But all right, boys. Thank you very much. You have a good night.
Thank you for having me on.
Nice.
Hey, anytime.